I feel like
Okay.
that every time.
What?
Every
It
time I
might
go
go.
live, like maybe it'll go. Maybe I'll do it.
Well, I'm gonna hope it's live. I didn't switch to the right account. I'm on my book account now, so let me go back to my actual account and see if we're live or not, because if not, I'll be upset. Okay, no, we're live, and everybody's just getting to see the dumpster fire beginning.
Yay!
Hi, Brett. Can you let me know if you can both see and hear both of us? That would be excellent. But I should probably get that feedback first before introducing us, because otherwise it's just going to be us talking to each other in silence. But if there's not, we'll go ahead and do it. So I'm Bob, and this is my reseller repartee. Thank you, Flip It Good. And I am joined today by another reseller. Hi, Alicia. Melissa, who is known here on YouTube as the Thrifty Broad. Would you like to say anything about yourself, Melissa, and just introduce yourself to everyone?
Oh man, I hate introductions. I'm Melissa. I've been a reseller for about 4.5, 5 years almost, and this is what I do. I sell on Poshmark, Mercari, and eBay mainly.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. And just have you tried Amazon or um, my brain died instantly in that question. I'm
Facebook.
sorry. Oh, Etsy.
Oh, I've done Etsy before. I decided that just right now it's not for me, but when I move, maybe. But Amazon, I have zero interest. Zero. I wish I had interest in it. I cannot drum up any interest for it. So no, it's not in the cards for me.
That's cool. So you're full-time though. This is
Yes.
what you do as your full-time living.
Yes.
Right. So I did look on your YouTube channel and did go back quite a bit of ways. And you said you've been reselling for 4.5 years. So how long have you been reselling full-time? Including not including any breaks that you may have made. Hello, Moxie is here, by the
So
way.
about 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
So I know we were talking a little bit before that you were doing full-time reselling and then you took a break and then you
Mm-hmm.
did full-time reselling again.
Mm-hmm.
What made you decide to take that break? Did you just want to try other things to see if you could make money at it?
Well, I mean, I felt burnt out. Like I felt like I didn't have the desire to list anything. I mean, I wasn't getting any labels from ThreadUp, and Swap is kind of a hot mess. And I was doing online consignment, and then I tried Paisley Lion. They're a dumpster fire. So they really are. And it's like I just I know I lost my love for it for a little while, and then I did like DoorDash for a couple months, and I reloved reselling again. Not
I
that
will.
DoorDash was bad. It's just that you spend a lot of time waiting, and it was a giant waste of time for a part of it. So
Oh, hi, Paul. Um, I've never been interested in doing any of those things. They just always seemed like a way for a company to skirt workers' comp and
mm,
insurance liability.
yeah, yeah, and you're right. Basically, I mean, their base pay is garbage, and you
Yeah.
rely on those tips basically. And I live in the Pacific Northwest. People tip really well here if they want delivery usually, and I didn't take ones that didn't tip. Like I just like nope. Like I'm worth more than that. Sorry.
That's interesting. So, but you said that you came back,
Hmm.
and you did because you basically went on hiatus during that time period on YouTube as well, and then you came back like nothing had changed. You're just like, hey, here's a web sold video. Let's
Yeah.
just gonna pretend that that whole couple of months didn't happen, and I'm right back here, no problem.
Well, and
And
that's
you,
not the first time either.
oh, is it?
Mm-mm.
So how
I've
long have
done
you
that a
had your
couple times on
YouTube channel?
YouTube. Like just on YouTube. Like I've not necessarily quit reselling before, but I mean I did the very beginning. I quit for like 5 months. But YouTube, I've taken long extended breaks like that before. And like I was kind of impressed that my YouTube didn't really suffer as much as I thought it would. But
Yeah, most people, it's not gonna suffer when you leave. It's only gonna suffer when you come back because your views are gonna tank.
right. And actually my views are went up since my last video. Thank you.
Yeah. So normally what happens is that if you take a hiatus, like people don't unsubscribe, they'll just
Right.
forget you're there. So they won't think to unsubscribe. most of the time. It's just that when you start re-uploading, you're no longer recommended on their feed
Right.
as frequently anymore. And so your views are going to suffer when you come back. But after you get back into a regular upload schedule, that's going to change back again.
Right.
So welcome back.
Thanks.
And while we were doing the break, you stated that your business this time around, coming back to full-time reselling, is doing much better than it did when you left. Is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that? Do you think taking that break and realizing, no, this is really the best gig for me helped?
I think it's a couple of different things. I think, yes, it's that taking the break. I needed that break. It's obviously I needed that break when I came back, and getting rid of everything I had before. Like I had
No
stuff
death pile, no nothing.
yeah, I don't have a death pile. I mean, I have a small one now, but it's fine. But not compared to what I had. I mean, I have a basement, and so I store all my stuff in bins in my basement. It's like about 1,000 square feet down there. It's unfinished, and it looks like a murder scene down there a little bit, but it's dark. And but I got rid of everything, and I think that helped a lot because I don't know, it was very freeing to get rid of everything. I sent like 30 some odd boxes of swap. They haven't all processed. It's going to take them forever to do that, but yeah, I think that and picking better things this time around.
Okay. Now, what's made you pick better things? Is just because now during that hiatus, were you still consuming reseller content
Yes.
or yes? Okay. So you took a hiatus from actually doing the job, but not from like
I didn't watch as
participating.
many videos as I used to. Like I used to like play a bunch of videos. I do that again. I play a bunch of videos while I'm working so I don't feel so alone. So, and I feel like that helps a lot. So I watch your videos, I watch Victoria, I watch a whole bunch of other videos. And so, yeah.
Okay. Well, part of the reason why I wanted to have Melissa on here is because she's one of the few other individuals I know that deal with a chronic disability and does this full time. Well, I don't do it full time, but also has to deal with a disability and doing full time reselling. And you have one that's kind of rough to having to be on the computer or on the phone all day long.
Right.
So, do you mind going into a little bit of like what you deal with and then also how maybe you go around that in order to adjust?
Well, it's it mainly affects my hands, but it can affect other parts of my body, like my it's really anywhere I have joints. It can really affect, but mainly it's like my shoulders or my elbows, or sometimes I can't even just lift up one arm, and or my fingers will swell up and I can't close them, or can't hold anything, or a coffee cup is too heavy, not even full. So it's I I kind of just do what I can, and I try to, when I have good days, I take advantage of those good days. And I do as much as humanly possible on those good days. And on the bad days, I just take it easy and watch a bunch of YouTube videos. But
Just so if Melissa is new to you, I do believe you're talking about your rheumatoid arthritis. Is that correct?
I don't have rheumatoid arthritis because I did get tested for that. I have
Oh,
inflammatory arthritis, which is like I feel like it's a blanket diagnosis because they couldn't figure out what's actually wrong with me. My joints aren't actually degenerating. Rheumatoid arthritis,
really?
it will degenerate. Every X-ray I've ever had, they're like, "Well, your joints aren't like deteriorating." I'm like, "Well, that's great. It just hurts." So when I get older, it's probably going to be a little bit worse, but I'm not going to need a joint replacement. I mean, I might need a knee joint replacement for other reasons, but yeah, because I have my knees are one knee is cracked and they're misaligned a little bit, so they blow up outside of the inflammatory arthritis. But yeah, it's really
See,
interesting.
okay. I just wonder because, I have hypermobile joint syndrome. So all
Mhm.
my joints hurt, but they also dislocate. So do you have a dislocation issue as well that's causing the pain or?
Not like, no, I don't dislocate. I mean, the only thing I could do is like my fingers can do that, but that's about it on both hands, but they're like double jointed. But outside of that, my joints do not dislocate, thank God, but they do blow up, like they swell. And it
Okay.
and it causes me to not be able to walk sometimes if it's like my hip joint or something like that. So
I'm
yeah.
just wondering if like they haven't So I have POTS and my POTS make it so I don't have a reaction, like a normal reaction to trauma.
Right.
So, I tore 3 ligaments in my right knee, fractured my tibial head, and like tore my meniscus, had a tiny bruise. No swelling, no nothing, all that damage, I just couldn't walk.
Right.
So I don't know if maybe you have some kind, like, I guess that does sound like you have an inflammation problem, but that
Yeah.
seems like something else though.
Yeah. And I've been to like 3 or 4 different rheumatologists, and I'm so disappointed by that whole. I'm so disappointed. Every time I go, I'm just very disappointed that they're just not willing to try to figure out what's wrong with me, and they just like, here, take this drug. And
Yeah.
so I was on that one malaria drug that people were taking for um you know what I'm talking about, I think.
Quinoxapil or something like that. I can't remember.
Hydroxychloroquine. I
There
was
you
put
go.
on that. It's a malaria drug, which I guess in some people it makes their joint pain go away. Not me. No, I had to go on steroids after I was on that drug for a little while to get rid of my extreme, like I had an extreme joint pain reaction to it. And yeah, that's one of the side effects is joint pain. So I'm not sure why they put me on that. So yeah, and it was killing my liver. Like we were taking my liver enzymes every 2 months, and it was actually hurting my liver, like damaging it. So I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do this anymore. So I took myself off that. I just take ibuprofen for it. I don't take any big drugs for it, except I live in a state where pot is legal, so I take marijuana pills at night so I can sleep all the way through the night, and it's not painful. So that's
Do
nice.
what you got to do. I will tell you the answer to why your doctor gave you that. It's because of the fact that doctors are a doctor in whatever they trained in. So most pharmacists are doctors in pharmaceuticals. So they would be able to give you that side effect. So I would highly recommend as I used to work at a pharmacy. I used to manage multiple pharmacies. So if you do that, if you have a new drug or medication that your doctor is prescribing you and they offer you, hey, do you have any questions for the pharmacist? I do recommend you say yes. This is not medical
Yeah,
advice, but from my experience working in that field, and then also as someone who is disabled, who has been on many medications, because I've had the same issue that you have, Melissa, where I've gone to so many doctors, and it wasn't until I found one that listened
right.
was I able to get the right referral to get my diagnosis. I do recommend you talk to your pharmacist and they'll go over all those side effects. And I also recommend you have all of your drugs in one location and not have them over many pharmacies because of
Yeah,
the fact that they'll be able
right,
to tell you about different drug interactions.
right.
I feel like this is not reseller talk, but that's not necessarily what this is going to be about. So
No,
if if you
and yeah, that's good advice for anyone really watching and has any issues like that, because I didn't think to ask that. And there's been a couple of times where I should have asked questions, but sometimes you just don't ask questions because you don't understand how you're going to react. Like I tend to have like paradoxical reactions to things. So like it was an antibiotic I was put on. It gave me vertigo. It happens so rarely. I literally had vertigo for 18 hours. I could not drive my car. I could not find my phone. It was a mess. So it was really bizarre, but yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm making faces because Moxie's on my lap and she just farted. It is like liquid death smell. So that's why I made the face. I'm so sorry. No,
That's fine.
but I no, but I do appreciate you sharing that. And it's the same thing with me. So I normally have adverse or opposite reactions to medications as well. And part of that has to do with POTS, because my brain just doesn't work like other people's brains. Like I have an adverse reaction to Finagrin. If you don't know what Finagrin is, that's normally the first thing they give you when you are throwing up and you can't stop.
Right.
It will actually make me throw up until I black out.
Oh, it's awful.
So unfortunately, like I totally get that. That's why whenever anybody says I need a new medication, I'm like, can you tell me what all the side effects are? Can you give
Yeah.
me a sheet? No, okay, then I'm not going to try that. So don't eat much. I'm so sorry. Look, she's right here. She looks adorable,
Don't eat lunch. She is adorable.
but I can't
Yeah.
do anything about that.
I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait until we move to England. and then I'm going to go down that journey again in a different country.
You would definitely be going down that journey again, because I do
Yes.
follow a lot of, well, there are other people in the Twitch space that all of them actually live in the UK or on the NHS,
Right.
and because they have pots, like it's taken care of and they don't have to worry about things, which
Right.
is a blessing.
Hmm.
But you are going to have to go that journey again, but maybe somebody there will have the answer that you're looking for, which would be great. But that's
Yeah.
a great segue, Melissa. Thank you so much. So you were talking about moving to England. So I do know that your husband is from England.
Hmm.
So do you mind me telling us maybe when that move is going to happen and why? And
We don't know when, honestly. We think we're hoping in the next 6 months to a year at the max, but really, I'm hoping there's a bunch of factors. We need to get rid of a lot of stuff. Let's be real. We have house and it's packed of stuff. So we need to get rid of a lot of stuff. Because we literally, when we move, we're moving with 2 giant suitcases and nothing else.
now may I ask why?
Because it's very expensive to ship things over there.
You don't want a $3,000 shipping container to
No.
move all your stuff over there?
No, there's nothing I have that I really am like so like attached to. I'm happy to start over, honestly. But we're gonna show some of the games. We love to play games. We love to play board games and we love to play video games. So the board games that we can't buy again because they don't make them anymore, like my husband's Blood Bowl, which I played with him once, but and or the things that he's done, like Warhammer 4400, I think it's called. He's painted a bunch of figures.
44K.
Yeah, 44K. I don't know.
I am very nerdy.
But we'll like box that stuff up and we'll ship that over. And so we'll ship out over several boxes of things that we can't buy again, but everything else, like we're gonna buy again.
So if I'd ask, are you going to resell in England?
Yes. Yes.
Have you been watching Nick and Andrea? So you can
I do watch them. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna try to do more of the vintagey type stuff over there. I need to learn a lot. But
so when you say vintagey type stuff, are you talking about vintagey clothing or vintagey glassware and antiques?
Yes. All the above.
I like that. I do that too. Yes.
Yes.
So they have a mate called Antiques Arena. He's a Welshman. He is just an absolute fountain of knowledge.
I will have to write him down. Antiques Arena.
Yeah. He's also he's a Welsh seller. He used to have an antique store. He unfortunately did not survive the pandemic.
Oh no.
He tried, but he's decided to go mostly online now. But he knows his stuff. And the thing is that if you're moving to England and you're wanting to do vintage, and especially if you're wanting to do vintage and antiques, glass and porcelain,
yeah,
man, you're gonna get them for nothing. Like bits and bobs at car boot sales. Like some of the stuff he pulls out and that Nick and Andrea pull out, even though Nick and Andrea don't really do that much glass and ceramics.
Right.
They're here's a Georgian. Here's a Georgian goblet for you that's been around for 250 years.
Right.
Picked it up for like £1 at a car boot sale. That's why I watch it, because I'm a giant history nerd and I just love that stuff.
And I like watching what's her name? Dr. Lori. She has a lot of good information too. She
has a lot of good information. I do find her delivery interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Her delivery is interesting. I have a hard time with people that are selling a service. That's what my issue is. Yeah. So it's very much a show with her, but she is very knowledgeable. I have to give her that as well. So
I take her free knowledge.
You just want the free knowledge. Yeah, that's fair. Aw. You've been to the UK though, I'm sure. How did you and your husband meet? Can you tell me that?
Yes. So, and I know you'll appreciate this. So him and I used to play Final Fantasy 11 online, and we met there. He saved me in the dunes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You're an MMORPG coupling?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that with my whole heart.
4 of them now. I played WoW with my husband for a year. That was the longest year of my life. I'm not a WoW fan, but it's okay.
I lost 4 years of my life to WoW.
Yeah.
I am now playing New World, and I already feel like that's going to be a mistake because
New World. I've not heard of that yet.
um, so I'm a Twitch partner. So like Amazon has decided to be like, Blizzard is down. We're gonna try to take that space. So Amazon now has its own MMORPG called New World,
Hmm.
and it has a lot of bugs,
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
but it's kind of hilarious in how bad they are, and they're just struggling to keep it up. And I'm definitely probably going to lose a little bit too much time. But so you guys met at MMORPG. He moved here, or did you guys did you meet over there, or did he come over here? Or...
Well, at the time I was actually married to another person. So we were friends. We were friends for about, we played together for about 2 years. I was in a car accident right after I started playing. And so I messed up my shoulder. And so I couldn't like work for a year and a half. So I played a video game for basically a year and a half because I couldn't do much because I had, God, I forgot what it's called. Not baritis. I know that's the wrong way to say it. I don't know, it was something in your shoulder. It just wouldn't getting better. And so finally they figured it out. Oh, it was plateaued, and I got better after that. But so I played that he quit, and I didn't hear from him ever again. But we knew each other's real names though. And I played with his sister as well. And so I was looking on Facebook for somebody else that the last name was very similar, and his sister popped up. And so I sent her a message and said, "Hey, how are you? How's Colin?" Because Colin and I played like in like a static group for a really long time, and over like vent with our whole group and stuff like that. And she gave me his email address. Bursitis, thank you. And she gave me his email address, so I started emailing him. And at this point, I was divorced from my husband, and I was living on my own. And so yeah, then we started dating online, and we dated online for a year, and then he came over here for 2 weeks so we can apply for our fiance visa. I was the more established. My husband's 11 years younger than me. So when we got married, he was 24 and I was 35. Now I'm 46.
Hey girl, hey.
Yeah. I don't usually go for younger men. Usually everyone I've been with has been older than me, so it's kind of interesting. But he's like 70 when he was born. Like he's old here. Except that he plays video games, but
hey. Yeah. I'm not judging. Literally,
I know, right?
Before every partner I've had before, the one I have currently, the boy, have all been younger than me since I got divorced, which I don't really talk about ever on my channel. So totally understand that. So let's answer Alicia's question. What is the thing you're going to miss most from the States when you move?
The bins.
The bins?
Yes, I will miss the bins because it's.
Now, are you talking about Amazon bins, or are you talking about Goodwill bins?
The what bin? Oh, the Goodwill bins. That's all I have here. What did you say first?
Amazon bins. Like those were like the thing during the pandemic, were all those Amazon bin stores.
They don't exist in Washington State, at least in my part of Washington State. I don't think they exist in the state at all, actually.
Okay, I'm going to be very curious because I know that the West Coast life is expensive.
Yes. I live in Everett though, so it's not that expensive where I live, but it's more expensive than like Arkansas, you know.
Do you live near Raw Beauty Christie? You even know who I'm talking about? No, you don't. Okay. No. I'm a little bit too internety for that. No, I have never been to Washington State. I've been to California, but I did do a lot of like cost of living searches when I was like looking for other positions when I was unhappy at a previous position. And cost of living there is just insane. Paul.
Aw.
Thank you. Also, you're my first super chat, so you popped my cherry. I know you'd appreciate that based on the things you send me on Instagram. I'm going to chat with him next month. But thank you. No, I just so where I live, I'm very blessed in that Virginia actually has a relatively low cost of living. But when I look at people who do reselling full time, somewhere up in New England, like Lotta Josh or Philly Flipper, I mean, he does live in Philadelphia, which is, according to Tommy, the murder capital of the world. But like the West Coast reselling, I just feel is so completely different than East Coast reselling, and not to go back to 90s West Coast versus East Coast vibes, but like your brands are a lot different.
Yeah.
I
Oh
feel like
yeah.
some of the brands that you find is a lot better too, though. Like I see, Courtney from Common Tags pull stuff out of there. I've even seen Mogi Beth, her stuff, like what she pulls out as well. I've seen some of the stuff you pull out, and the brands kind of like make up for the living as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like I feel like California, Oregon, and really Nevada and Washington all have like I know similarities with them from the different people I watch. But it's like when you get further over, then it's changing a little bit. It's interesting because I've heard like on maybe some of my videos or maybe some of my Instagram posts, and people like live in the middle of the country that live like far away from any kind of bins or any kind of good thrift stores, and they end up having to shop a lot online or do like thread up rescue boxes and stuff like that. And I thought, wow, if I ever had to like survive just on those, that would suck because it's always a gamble. Although I do like gambling with that, but I don't do that now, but because I kind of want to pick my stuff.
Yeah, that is something that I've had to deal with, like doing the thread up rescue boxes. I have done many of those, collabing with Jess, who's in the chat, and Victoria and
Yeah.
Alicia, my little group of ladies. Um, but I've found that I don't like listing the stuff because I'm not interested in it, and that I already
Right.
have quite the death pile. I'm just adding to that when I've been getting these thread up boxes, because unless it's worth, $50+ that I know I can flip in a certain amount of time, I'm not gonna list it if I didn't pick it up.
Well, plus the cost of goods is higher too than what I would get at my, bins. But if I go to thrift stores around here, ooh, that's hard.
See,
That's what then my
that's
cost of goods goes up from, goes to like $9, $12 an item, and that's harder.
well, I think for you, I saw in your videos that your bins, because I don't know if you know this, if you have a Goodwill in your area, they're actually regional, and
Yep.
different regions have different rules and
Right.
rates, which I
Yes, I know.
don't think is necessarily talked about or discussed.
Yeah.
But so if I go to the bins that's closest to me in my region, the shoes are $3 regardless. Like
Oh,
that's not by
interesting.
weight. It's $3 flat. It doesn't matter
Hmm.
if it's a boot. But the thing is that what gets me there is that the kids' shoes at retail are $3. So you're not saving anything. And I'm like, how do
Yeah.
you how do you
Hmm.
make that happen? But I also don't like the bins.
That's funny.
Ow.
But you
Like
don't
I've
really like
tried
clothes
shopping
that
there.
much. I mean, you like clothes, but you don't really do much with clothes, right?
My death pile is
Is all clothes.
predominantly clothes.
Yeah, right.
No, I like selling clothes, and
Hmm.
but that's for me, listing clothes is the most labor and time intensive. Like that's where I get
Really?
really tired at. Yes. Even clothes that I really love. It's
Yeah.
because I do all hanging,
Yeah.
and I take all the measurements and I take the photos. So I can get through 50 books in
Oh, yeah.
in the time
I
it
mean,
takes
books
to
are
do.
easy, yeah.
Yeah, books are easy, and that's what I
Yeah,
really like because I really love books. I also really love vintage clothing, but to sell vintage clothing, like if you're wanting to get a premium dollar for it, you
you have to
also got to
model
like
it.
try it on, do the
Yeah,
cute little video for Etsy or Poshmark, and you
yeah,
or Depop. Like you have to like put a little bit more effort into it, and then like if you style it in a photo, it's going to sell faster and it's going to sell
right.
for more money. I really like vintage stuff. I really like vintage clothing. Um, but the basic Wrangler Pearl Snap is what's selling faster for me. So I'm picking those up too, but
Right.
it takes me longer. Also, because of my allergies, I'm washing every single piece of clothing. I know that not everybody does that,
No,
but
I
I
don't.
wash
I
I
don't.
wash every single piece of clothing. I stain treat it. I also like if I find out it's missing a button, I
Yeah,
fix it because for me it's more about like I know how much goes into the garbage. I
yeah.
honestly do. And so I always get really thrown for a loop because I know that, Jess and Alicia get crap all the time on TikTok about you're stealing from the poor. And it's like, yeah, that eye roll, I could feel
I
that. I could hear it from over here on the East Coast. Hello, Moxie.
She's like, "See my fur."
But it's just like that's just because of the fact that one, that's classism because they only think poor people can shop at thrift stores.
Right.
That's inherent bias classism there. And two, because they really just don't understand like Goodwill. If they understand the inner workings of Goodwill, they would never make that statement ever again.
Yeah. If they see the
And
back and see all the gaylords upon gaylords upon gaylords in the back of the bins.
you know what? I was so upset the one time I didn't check your story. And FISA was the time you posted all those Rails pieces because I literally just wanted them for myself. And I've never found Rails ever. That's on my Bolo list, and I just wanted to see like what it felt like. But like that's whoever you gave that deal to got a deal. I mean, do you know who Anfisa is?
Oh
She's a
yes,
full
yes, I do. I'm thinking, yeah. I saw a live with Anfisa before. Yes,
so she's a full-time reseller
in
and a
Alaska.
homesteader in Alaska.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I can't remember whose live I saw her on though.
I don't know either. I know she's in Tommy's chat all the time, and he convinced me to watch her, and now I watch all of her stuff because
Yeah,
she's beautiful. Plus, she also has chickens. I don't know how anybody can live where it's that cold and that dark so much.
I could totally do it.
You,
No, not the cold. Not the cold. The cold hurts me. Like it's kryptonite to me. Like I need warm. Although moving to England, which is going to suck for me. Told my husband when we get a little bit older, let's move to the
hey,
south of France. But they probably won't allow him.
so what's the wait for going to the UK? You're just trying to get rid of your stuff, or like are you waiting for some things to clear? Or, like what is your plan when you get to the UK?
Well, we will have to sell our house probably. So, and we bought our house at like 180,000 about 6 years ago. So, we have great equity in that. So, according to Redfin, it's worth about 440. So, that's perfect. So, I'm excited if we get that big of a return on our investment.
Well, right now the housing market's just it's been insane since,
Right.
the pandemic
We're
happened.
hoping that we can sell it before it crashes. But if it crashes before we can actually move, we have, yeah, we need to get rid of a lot of stuff. We're waiting. We have someone who lives here that we need for them to relocate. So that's part of the problem. Like we can't like really do much. And then once they're gone, then we're gonna basically I'm gonna go through the house, like get rid of as much as possible because it's a dumpster fire in my house. Like we have so much stuff in one, and then not really a dumpster fire, but we're cluttered people. We really are. I mean, look at my office. This
Well,
is how
are you renting a room
no,
or
we own this house.
no, I'm saying are you renting a room or is it like a duplex, which is what you're waiting for? You said you have
Oh,
someone else that lives in your home. So I'm
right,
asking,
They rent a room from us.
okay.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
what I was confused about. I didn't know if it
Sorry,
was
yeah, sorry.
it's
Yeah, no,
okay.
it's actually my ex stepdad. So it's my mom. My mom died a couple years ago, and so he's moving to a more like senior centric. He's 87, so he's moving to a more senior place because A, he can't come with us, and B, he really needs a facility like that. So we're
Okay.
waiting for the approval on that, and that's been a little bit up in the air. So we're waiting for that to happen. Once he moves out, then we can get our house ready. But we do need to get rid of some stuff and make it viewable, if that makes any sense. So
I mean, I've seen some places sell that were not viewable.
yeah.
Def definitely. Or you could just, do like some people do on eBay and just take a listing completely naked and just be like, this is my house. Have you seen that?
No. I am
No?
not doing that, but no, I'm not seeing that.
Okay. Maybe it's just what I
I
buy
think
and
it would scare some
resell.
people.
No, I have seen more than not just men, but women or Facebook Marketplace. Oh my God, when like Facebook first gave the ability to do buy and sell local, some people that would be butt naked. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, my thing made a beep.
Oh.
That would be butt naked, taking a picture of a mirror or a TV and put it up for sale. And you just see all the bits. And you're just like, I wonder
People
if
are
that
dumb.
helped it sell faster.
People
But there's still people like that on eBay. Like,
Oh my
it
god.
looks like they're completely naked. You can't see anything naughty most of the time.
That's so funny.
And they're just holding the thing up, like, here, this is for sale. And they turn it around and they're still completely naked, sitting in the same spot. But they're like, here's the back. You've
Yeah,
never
no, I won't
seen
be doing
that.
that. No,
Okay.
no.
Yeah, you say it different search terms. I don't know what I'm doing. I've only seen it like once a year. Once a year, one of
No, okay.
those entreats my comps looks. And then I click on it because, of course, I have to look at it because it comes up with all the other comps. But I noticed on your channel that before you took the hiatus, you were doing a lot of lives.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're doing pre-recorded. Are you going to bring lives back at some point, or
I don't know.
you don't know?
So they were okay, but I don't know. I'm not much of a planner. I think that's a big problem for me sometimes. I'm not. My husband is an chronic over planner and I'm a just doer kind of girl. So I don't know. I I'm not sure if I want to bring them back or not. I might, but right now pre-recorded works better for me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. So why were you doing a whole bunch of lives before you decided to
I don't know.
come back and just like I'm just going to do pre-recorded now?
Well, I was doing pre-recorded then too, but I was just doing one like live chat a week and I don't know, it was like bring other perspectives and I mean it's nice to talk to other people like, like we're doing right now, just kind of get to know other people. Um I mean, in all honesty, I probably will bring it back eventually and probably not till and maybe when I move over to the other side of the pond, it might be easier, but yeah.
Okay. So you're going to move across the pond. Are you hoping that your sailing of your home will allow you guys to find some place to be, or do you already have something set up with friends and family over there, or
Well, we're gonna stay with his parents for
I'm going to
like
be so
a
nosy, I'm
couple
sorry.
weeks. No, we're gonna stay with his parents for a couple weeks. We've already worked that out. So like no more than a month because we're not living with anybody else ever again, like ever. So like, yeah, learn my lesson with that. And we are going to rent for a year because guess what? We have no credit in England, like neither one of us. So, because Colin didn't have a job until he moved here
Oh
because he
no.
had issues to deal with over there. So he was going to school for a little while too. He went to did a couple years of college, which didn't transfer over here, of course. And my college
No.
won't transfer over there. So, I mean, I have an associate's degree, so I guess I can put that on there, but I don't have like any kind of bachelor's degree or anything. But so, yeah, nothing transfers. It's all different systems completely.
You say that, but if you have something from like Oxford or Cambridge, that still counts. That still has some kind of weight if you have some kind of like
Graduate
recognized
degree, though.
IVA, Ivy League school.
Yeah, you would need some kind of graduate degree, though, I think. Like, I don't
No.
know. Like, I don't
No,
think an associate's does anything over there. It's not transferable
you
here.
say if you can market yourselves really well and say like I have a degree regardless of how many
Right.
years of schooling from Oxford or Cambridge or something that is
Right.
recognizable in American culture and you are charismatic enough, I'm pretty sure that you could schmooze your way or fake
Oh,
it until you make it here in America because
yeah.
America's all about faking it until you make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you are hoping to resell full time when you go over
Mhm.
to the UK.
Yeah. I'm not getting a regular job because I'm never working for anyone ever again. Ever. I refuse.
I want to be there so bad.
You'll get there.
I'm trying hard.
Yeah.
And then
I mean,
not being able to.
full disclosure though, we don't depend on my money. My husband has a good job. He works for a firewall company and he is a technician. So he makes pretty good money and he works from home. So we're moving to England with that job intact. So that's going
Oh,
to
that's
be,
amazing.
oh yeah. Cause they're a worldwide company. So it's a small company, but they're worldwide. And so yeah, they have ever since the pandemic, people scattered. So people now his manager lives in like I think Chicago, and another manager lives in New Mexico, and one moved to Hawaii, and a couple people had already moved back to England prior to the pandemic. And it's kind of really interesting
Wow.
how the pandemic kind of it really made it so they made it really hard for people wanting to come back to the office. They're like, well, you have this laundry list of things that need to be checked off before we would, have a desk for you, because now they're kind of doing like a hoteling station type of thing at his job. So if you want to come into your job, they want people to stay home basically. If you want to
Oh,
come into the job, then you need to basically reserve a spot for you because no one has any stations so anymore.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Like they're a very forward thinking company. So I'm glad he works there.
I think that's I think the pandemic showed a lot that, people can be productive from home and then overall they're happier working from home. And
That's
then what I don't understand is, people that are resistant to that and like desperately want to go back to office life. And it's just like, why? The amount of money that a business saves by
yeah.
not having a retail space, by not having to pay
Oh
for
yeah.
like, you know, worker productivity, if the productivity is staying the same or improved with them working from home,
Mm-hmm.
what what basis do you have to make them come back to the office?
Exactly.
I
It
can understand where some people like they need that because they need that structure. And if
yeah.
they can come back to the office, just downsize the office and give them that opportunity. But forcing people back into the office is not really necessary.
No. And I was working as before I went full time reselling, I was a medical biller for a hospital in downtown Seattle. And we had gone virtual prior to the pandemic. Well, I quit before the pandemic hit, but um, it, it's like, it's just really interesting. Like there was, when they were floating, when we were trying to get that, like, because I would spend 3 hours a day sometimes in my commute. Sometimes it was an hour and a half to Seattle and an hour and a half back. And I live in Everett, which is 30 miles away. It's not that far, but the traffic is horrendous. And
I can only
so,
imagine.
yeah, I was like, my husband definitely was losing 3 hours a day because he worked in Chinatown, and which is further in. I worked like at the Stewart exit in Seattle, if anyone's near Seattle, but which is like right inside Seattle, not Ballard, but it's like kind of right inside downtown Seattle. But Chinatown's all the way on the other side of Seattle, so they go through Seattle, so it takes forever to get through it, especially on a big bus. Because we bussed in, we did not drive because it's too much. But um, yeah, yeah, it's better. I think it's better to work from home, honestly.
Well, I mean, I would agree with Carl there, the lazy real seller. Like ADHD and trying to work from home is not a good mix. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, there's
if
some
I could
people.
actually be at home and do any work, but because my location where I live in my house is very close to the on-site, like the job site, the main job site for my employer,
Right.
I'm having to go to the site now more, and I'm almost never home, but it's because my boss has been like, "Okay, well, you're conveniently here, so you can work from home, but I'm never there, so I can never
Yeah.
actually do the office work because I'm always on site."
Yeah.
And so if I got to do any office work, then I'm like, "Look, I'm going to schedule a day in the office, and then I have to drive all the way to Williamsburg." I'm like, "You need to leave me alone today because I'm at the office." And that's why I have to draw that line because, in between the ADHD,
Right.
not being able to focus on one thing, I definitely can't focus on one thing if I'm having to drive to the job site
Right.
every
Yeah.
other hour. So I feel you there, Carl. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, there's always those kinds of things, but yeah. I mean, overall, I think if your job can be remote, then I think there should always be that option, honestly.
Right, well, now your job is definitely like the most remote, and you can do whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I know that when you go to the Bends, like, that's your main source. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say your main selling platform is right now? Like, what's the one that
Poshmark.
is really?
Yes, I
Do
make the
you
most money on Poshmark. I want eBay to win, but
do you
it's
have a bot?
huh?
Do you have a bot?
Oh, absolutely. A Poshmark VA. Absolutely.
I think between you and Victoria, I'm gonna have to get that because
Oh,
I don't have the energy or the time to invest in Poshmark, and
it's
I
the
don't
best
sell on there.
$25. It's the best $25 you'll spend every month. The
Okay,
best.
okay, here I'm gonna make you try to sell me on Posher V.
Okay, I'm ready.
How many number of sales do you get on Posher? Like in a month?
In a month, well, let me look at my spreadsheet.
Oh, I love that you have spreadsheets. I love
I
people that use
use yeah.
spreadsheets.
I yeah, I started off not using spreadsheets, and yes, I love spreadsheets too. I should have always been using them.
I do money in, money out. I don't care what platform it is.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I know last month I did. Let me just look at this because I use the Sarah Styles I really like those. I bought them when they went on sale, and I really love them because she did all the thing for me, so I don't have to do any of the calculations. So last month I did made 192 sales, of which
how many listings do you have?
Right now I have 350
on Poshmark.
Yeah,
man, that's an incredible sell through.
Yeah, last month I had a 35% sell through rate.
Damn, girl.
Because I don't, I do kind of overprice it, but I offer a really deep discount. So I offer an immediate 30% off. I kind of do, Denali does that basically too. She does like a really deep discount, and then she does another discount. And
because it's the American mindset where like I gotta haggle and make
I
a
need
good
a deal.
You need a deal, but you're not really getting a deal. It's just I'm not one of those people that like to haggle. I'm like, this is my price.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm okay. I'm not, necessarily a haggler, but God, does this tell me how many sales were Poshmark? Well,
I appreciate you sharing this, by the way. I'm just curious. As someone who is also has a disability and want to get to the point where I'm just working for myself and making myself money. Like I know, Tommy Bernard on his show makes the thing where it's like your listings the number of listings you had doesn't matter because everybody's business model is different. And I totally get that. But if you get enough information from enough different people, you can kind of get based on your own ability and based on the things that you like to sell, you can get more of you cast a wide net to get a more narrow ideology of what you can do for yourself.
Right. And, I used to think that closet size mattered. And it's funny because I remember having that discussion with Sarah. And I was avid, like over 1,000. It's always been better for me, blah, blah, blah. And I wonder if I get back over 1,000, would it be better for me now? But since I've been back, I've been struggling to even get back to 400 listings because I keep selling. And I think it's because I just, I'm trying to do fast flips and not wait for I'm not doing the slow dime. So I'm not waiting for, I know this item could probably get 100. If I wait a year, I can maybe get 100 for this, or I can sell it now for 50 and just be on my way. And I think about it. I think you actually make more money if you do it. In my opinion, you make more money if you do it faster, unless you're doing like high-end luxury. But like if you're waiting for that $100, that other $50, by that time you could have spent the other $50 on other stuff that made you more money.
See, that's something that I'm getting more towards too, and I've noticed that my sell through has gotten a lot better. Of course, that means that I've set a goal for my Moxie, please. Like, okay, she's talking. Let me walk across now. Like, I've set a goal for myself to hit 500 listings on eBay, and I've been really focusing on that and trying to get that, but I've not been able to get to that 500 because I'm starting to sell through stuff, and it's just because I have such a low buy cost with most of my stuff because I do like average cost of goods that I had stress-free paper. If you're here and watching this or if you watch the replay, like he left a comment and he was I sold a tiki mug recently in my latest what sold video, and he was like, that could have been a $15-$20 tiki mug, and I'm like, I paid $1 for it. It's gone within less than 2 weeks. It'd been sitting in my death pile I like forgot I had it. I was trying to move stuff for my demo. I forgot I had it. I found it and I was like, let me list this before the vestiges of summer ends, which they're already gone here in Virginia. I don't know if they are where you are in Washington, but I listed it. It sold to me like within 2 weeks for my $9.87 and whatever the shipping it was.
Right.
And it's out the door. It's something that's sitting in my death pile for months.
Right.
And I'm like, it's gone. It's gone. It's unbranded. It's not one of those tiki brands that, net $50 to $60. I'm happy that it's gone and I can reinvest that money for something else that I might list faster than a couple of months from now. But yeah, Tracy, I think what I'm going to do between listening to you and Tommy and Victoria from Super Geek and Melissa, excuse me, I'm trying not to burp very loudly.
I know I have the same problem. My voice won't hear me.
I'm like, I want to invest more time in cross platforms. I think, I was listening to a lot of Josh. Do you watch a lot of Josh at all?
I think I've seen him a couple of times. I know he recently came back, right?
Yeah, he did recently come back. He did the same thing you do where he took a break tried other things, and then came back to full. He's like, the first time was there was not enough, and then the second time he's focusing more on his business, buying better things and doing that, and his
Right.
business is much improved, and this thing keeps losing focus.
I know. It's like, let's make you fuzzy.
But I was listening to him talk in his latest podcast, and I forgot where this was going because my ADHD brain just decided to let that go because I got distracted by the camera.
That's
What were
okay.
we talking about?
A lot of Josh, and he took a break and did other things, and he came back.
Right, but there was something that had to do with him specifically, but not about that part.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. It'll come back to me after
Okay.
I log off.
I might come back to you in a minute. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I've been enjoying his podcast immensely because he talks like it's just him, doing word vomit for a couple of minutes, like anywhere from 10 to 30, 40 minutes.
What is it
Slow
called?
dime versus the quick nickel. Yeah, I want to reinvest that money in something else and not get stuck on the sales, but that's not what I was thinking about, and that brain is never coming back. Cross posting.
Cross posting. That's right. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Paul, I love you. I'm so excited to talk to you later. Yeah, about cross posting, where he's been focusing on eBay, and then once he gets to his eBay store, like his goal was reaching 10K in 30 days. Like that's his rolling goal, is to have 10K at least every month on eBay and rolling. And then once he gets that goal and is able to maintain it, then he's going to start cross posting.
Right.
So
I cross post right away. I just use Vendu and I cross post everything. So to Macari, eBay, and Poshmark.
yeah. So
and I'm already building the listing. I build it all in Vendu, and I already built it. So it literally takes me like an extra minute to just cross post it. So
okay. I understand that like cross posting, cross listing service is probably amazing for full timers. I just cannot justify
even
that
part-time.
price. I can't justify that price. It's just that's the same reason why I haven't got a Poshmark VA. It's just because that amount of money.
Well, let me interject though. So every business has tools. Everywhere I've ever worked uses tools. If they didn't invest in any tools, they would make less money. It's just the way it is. Especially like when I worked for the doctor's office, right? Or worked for a hospital, they use software to process all the claims. Or if you had to do that by yourself, it would take forever. And the thing is, like, you're paying for it in time. You're paying for it in a different way that doesn't seem like a monetary value, but you are paying for it in other ways, I think. Like by sharing your closet by yourself or doing it manually or not doing it at all. Like a friend of mine, she recently was having an issue with her closet. She wasn't sharing. And that was a big problem. So it's like, yeah, if you don't share your closet on Poshmark, you don't make many sales. Although there is one lady I know that does. And I'm like, I don't know how she does it. I've never been able to do that, but
Yeah, I know, and that's how everybody sells it to me, Tracy. And I have a hard, like the amount, like, so I didn't actually pay for the annual subscription for Photo Room until someone got smart in their software and like department and made it so when you downloaded the photo, you couldn't adjust it again. Like it wouldn't let you resize it or edit the little thing out. So I used to just crop the thing out because I'm a butthole.
and it's all tax deductible.
I understand. Trust me, you don't have to tell me about taxes. I literally do that.
I probably do mine way wrong. I don't think I probably take as many as I should, but yeah, I probably overpay.
No, I understand that it's a tax adjustment. I understand that it's a business expense. I do understand that. I still, when I think about the number at the end of the year where it's like, all right, it's $25. So times 12, that's $300 a year.
Right.
You're paying for this service, where on Poshmark, I make less than that in a year. So it just, why are you holding your hand up? Hi.
I'm being funny. Like go to school and you raise your hand. But the thing is, also, you can get a affiliate link for Posture VA. I do have that. It's paid for. I don't pay for it. I mean, I do pay for it, but people have signed up under me. And so I get 5%, 20%, or I get 20% of their subscription every month if they do the monthly, or once a year if they do the yearly, and it's forever. Right now it's forever. So as long as they are subscribed, I get their kickback. So I've been making about $500 a month from my kickback from Posture VA.
That's amazing.
And I don't really talk about them
I'm a
much, but
terrible salesperson
so
because
am I. I don't sell it. I barely mention it. I have 142 people that signed up under me. That's it.
I don't even when I don't mention stuff, like I have the stuff in the description. I'm the terrible salesperson because it's like, it's there. If you want it, go. That's also why I don't say like and subscribe, because
Right.
YouTube's been out for forever.
Yeah,
Okay.
but if you don't say it, they don't do it.
I'm doing just fine not saying it.
I mean, when
I'm
I say
okay
don't like and subscribe, they don't like or subscribe.
I don't say it because I'm like, you know how to use it.
I know.
I'm also one of those people. If you tell me 50 times in a video to like and subscribe, by the third time, I'm not watching your video anymore because I'm like, I can't
Well, that's
do all
excessive.
this
Yeah.
action.
I have a thing that pops up. Like, I don't remember to ever say it. I have a thing that pops up that I put in all my videos now. I just kind of put it in there. It just pops up, just says subscribe and click, and has a little animation. That's it.
No, I understand. Like, I've seen that too, and I
Because I
feel
can't
like that's
remember
much
to
less
say it.
intrusive. I know Dave Tesla Picker has that on his. I think once every 3 months, I send him a message on Instagram saying he needs to update it because it's so out of date. Because he's got like 2 to 3 times the number of subscribers as when that animation was made, and it bothers me. But like, look, yeah, you guys, I'm gonna be stubborn and not
I
get
know.
it until and at least I'm not gonna consider doing either of those things or investing in another resource until I hit where I want to be on eBay. Just like Lotta Josh, which is part of why I have a lot of respect for that dude.
Right.
Like, he's like, I tried it this way. I tried to do it the way everybody else is telling me, like, do the YouTube life, buying stuff just for YouTube. And that's why I really appreciate him being very transparent about stuff like that, is because it's like, he tried to do full-time reselling. He tried to do the influencer thing, and he realized that both of them were not sustainable for the lifestyle that he wanted,
Right.
or for the life that he wanted in general. And so, like, taking that step back, getting where he needed to be in his real life, and then coming back to reselling with a different mindset
Yeah.
helped him.
Yeah.
And like, he's growing, and even his YouTube is growing, and he's not really trying. Sorry, it's been bothering me for a while. And his YouTube's growing, and I think it's just and that's how I am. Like, I need to do it my way, and
Right.
then when I have other resources, because you're like me, where you have a limited amount of energy in your day, and I already have to spend that doing my full-time job.
Right. Right.
And then I have 2 part-time jobs with Twitch and with YouTube,
Right.
and then I have another YouTube channel that I'm taking time away from, which is why I was late to start the thing. I asked you to be 15 minutes early, and then I was late, and I felt like a butt.
Oh no, it's totally fine. Like, I was there. I'm like, I know everything's gonna work. So, but yeah, I was there. It's like, oh, I'll
She's
be right
like,
back. I
I'm
need to
good at
drink.
this. I know it's gonna be fine. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Well, thank you, Victoria.
And I can totally appreciate the whole stubbornness thing. I'm very stubborn. Very stubborn. I just learned some of the things that I don't need to be so stubborn about because they've proven themselves to me. Like the Posture VA. I know I'm making more money because I have that. The Vendu, I'm making more money because I have that. Like, I would make less money if I didn't have those things. So I've learned that the hard way when I did everything manually. And I remember when I used to work a full-time job, and I used to do this when I got home, and it was like working 2 full-time jobs sometimes. And it took a toll, and it's hard when you have a full-time job. Like, it's hard to do it full-time, but it's also hard when you have a full-time job. It's way harder than anyone really, talks about, I think.
Well, the thing is that, like, you say that, but I devote maybe 2 hours a day to this.
Yeah.
And that includes, like, the videos and stuff. Especially now that my partner got me this ridiculous computer. Like,
That's
it
awesome.
used to be like I would edit a 20-minute video would take 2.5 hours for my old computer to render, versus now it takes 17 minutes for the computer to render. Why is this brio? This is supposed to be Logitech's like 4K camera, and it's like, it's only 4K if we decide to have you in focus. I hope you guys like Blurry Bob, because that's what you're getting, and I'm tired of like waving at it. It'd be like right here.
There
And
you
it's
go.
like, hello.
There you go. Yeah, perfect.
Hi.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's a different thing. Like when it's a physical asset, then I don't have a problem purchasing it. Like my Rolo, well, that's not true. My brother bought my Rolo for me as I had it on my Amazon wish list. And he
Yeah.
was like, for you to have something that boring on your Amazon wish list, you must really want it. So he bought it for me for Christmas and I
That's
cried
hilarious.
because,
Good for him.
so I mean, like, if I had bought that for myself, it would have definitely paid for itself in the amount of time I've saved
Oh,
versus
yeah. I mean,
fixing.
I waited to get a Dymo. I have a Dymo, but the only reason I got the Dymo is because somebody, I think it was Jenna, that was having a little special. So you buy 6 of the, what do you call it? The labels of the 4x6 labels, buy 6 of them, you get a free Dymo. I mean, that was a whole different other like mess. But I mean, because the Dymo they sent me didn't work. It worked for 2 weeks and it stopped. And then I, had to say, hey, geez, I bought this brand new and it stopped working 2 weeks later. And so they sent me a refurbished one. And I'm like, no, that won't do. I literally bought this brand new. Send me a brand new one. And then they did.
Good. Good for
Yeah.
them. Good for the company making it right. Now, was it
Well, they
Dymo?
only made it right because I made them make it right. But
Yeah.
let's be clear.
No, I understand that. I think it's just because people are, I appreciate you for making the company be accountable for that because there's
Right.
so many that don't do that.
Right.
Like, look, customer service people have the crappiest job on the planet. And
Absolutely.
I will be so nice to you until you give me that like prompt speech that they give every person, in
Yeah.
which case my whole tonality changes. And I will go in that terms of service that nobody fucking reads. And you best believe that this recorded conversation is going to be in as much business less language as possible. But it's going to be all business, and I'm going to read that terms of service, and you're going to get the manager person. I guess that's turning into a Karen. I don't care. But
No, and I
you're
think
going
it's
to give me what I paid for.
right. And even though I did get it for free, technically, but that was part of the deal. So it
Yes.
wasn't like we're going to give you a free Dymo, but it's only going to work a little bit, and that's it. Sorry, like that's not the deal. That's not what I paid for. And no, and I think sometimes Karens are. You should be a Karen. You need to be a Karen. Just often when people are, they're not supposed to be. But
Fair enough.
I know. I think I basically said I live in Washington State, and I'm pretty sure there's lemon laws against this. And then they sent me a brand new one.
Yeah.
So
And that's the thing, like that. Like part of my 9 to 5 job is making sure that the business that I work for doesn't do anything untoward to the law. And
well,
then
that's
if
good.
it's a small business,
Yeah.
and so like that's something that I have to do. So if someone's trying to sell me something and they're like, "Oh, well, your HOA bylaws are blah blah blah," and I'm like, have you read our HOA bylaws? Because I don't know if you know this, but every HOA has different bylaws, and I've read the HOA bylaws, and I don't know what orifice you're speaking out of, but it is not the one that the words are coming out of. So we need to stop this. So
That's awesome.
I totally understand that. I appreciate the fact that you speak up for yourself because it's poops. So
Yeah.
like what are you gonna do? So you're reselling full time now, and you're saying that you have to resolve all of this stuff within 6 months.
I don't have to
Maybe
within
well
6 months. It's just the timeline we gave it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but so do you have an exit strategy for like when your your other person moves out, so that goes forward, and does that start the clock for you to moving out?
I mean, it's a self-determined clock, so it's kind of loose, but it's
I wonder because you said your partner is very much planned, so I don't know if this is maybe driving him
oh yeah.
crazy.
No, no, not in that way. Like he'll plan for something, just never do it. Like he planned to a fault. He makes me make things go into action because I will just push it forward because I'm the doer. So we make a good team that way. But it's like um a lot of the downsizing is gonna fall on me because my husband does work full time.
Right.
So, and I mean, I do work as well, but I do put in about 25 hours a week. So, um, downsizing our house will probably be more of a my job, but he'll do the heavy lifting. So I'll put things in a box and I'll make him lift things. It's a good combo that way because
Are you
lifting things will ruin my wrist for a while.
so are you trying to start that process now? Like get rid of like go through like a room and be like, "Hey, what out of this can you live without now?" kind
We
of a
will
thing?
be. We're waiting for this other person to move out. And then when he moves out, then I'm going to take over his room from my office, which will give me
Ah,
more room. This will become my husband's office because right now he works out of our bedroom. And so he'll have this room as our office. This is the smallest room in the house. Our bedroom is the biggest room in the house. And it's probably supposed to be a bonus room, but we made it into a bedroom. I mean, it was listed as a 3-bedroom house, except that room does not have a closet and has its own entrance in the back. So we park in the
that's
back and we
interesting.
have our own entrance. And we basically, it's kind of like we live in 2 different households in the same household. Like he takes up our roommate basically takes up the front half. His room's at the front. We have one bathroom we do share and a kitchen we do share, but he takes up the living room. We don't use our living room. We've never used our living room. So our bedroom is basically our living room. We don't really entertain anybody. So it is what it is. But when we move, we won't be doing that ever again. So like, yeah.
So I
Uh,
brought this up because Paul Flipper makes fun of me because when he asked me to be on his live, I told him I was chuffed, and he had no idea what I was talking about. So he had to look it up. So now when I asked him on his, he's like, "I'm chuffed about that." I'm like, "Okay, well, thank you for remembering." Because I did a graduate class in
mm.
Egyptology in London,
Oh, nice.
so I was there for a while, and like, so I meant to ask you, where are you gonna go? Like, where are you planning to live in the UK?
St. Ives, and not the one in Cornwall, the one in Cambridgeshire, and it's 2.5 hours north of London.
Okay. So are you gonna start talking in an English accent?
I don't know. It depends. I mean, I know it rubs off on people when you live in an area like my husband became a little bit more Americanized living here. But I mean, honestly, when he was, living in the UK, he gamed a lot and he gamed a lot of Americans. So it kind of rubbed off on him. I tease him. I'm like, your sister sounds more British than you are. He's like, shut up. It's really funny.
Well, you're gonna go over there and start using words too. I just like words better. I just like the words better. Like, instead of saying Mack truck, saying lorry, it's just simpler.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of differences. It's funny the amount of fights him and I have had over the language difference and not understanding that they meant 2 different things. And, just
Really?
yeah, there's quite a few words that we use differently than they do. So, I mean, of course, none's coming to mind right now, but like the word quite, that can be used a little bit differently than we use. I don't know. I guess at least I've always used quite like something is quite like it's big, but the way he uses it means it's like quite means tiny. Yeah, it's just weird how what he uses quite I uses quite. I don't know. Maybe it's a bad example. I'm not sure, but
Well, it also it's different as well where you are in the United States.
yes, yeah,
So for me, I would also do the small, but I'm Southern. So
yeah.
have you always been on the West Coast?
Yes, I was born in Connecticut and I lived 10 months there and we moved here when I was like 10 months old.
So no, you're
I
from the West Coast.
I lived here for 45 years, yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the word differences are I see those too, and I find them quite funny. But
Yeah.
to me, there's also word differences as well. Like I'll
Yeah.
say something. So I used to date a Norwegian, and he came over here, and we're in the South. It's the summertime. There are fireflies out, right?
Mhm.
And he's like, "What are the sparkle bugs?" And I could not stop laughing for like 10 minutes because it was the funniest thing I'd ever heard in my
Oh, it's
life.
so cute with the sparkle bugs.
But now I think about that whenever they come
Yeah.
out is
Yeah.
sparkle bug. It's very cute because they
Yeah.
don't have them there in Norway, and it's
We don't have
just
them here, I
interesting.
don't think.
No, because what people don't realize about fireflies is that their breeding ground is actually in the ground.
Mm.
So when they come out, like they flash. So the males are the ones that are flying around doing the flash,
Oh.
and the females are the ones on the ground or in like the brush. And if the men are flying around flashing and then they like their flashes, then the females will signal on their branch or on the ground that they're interested, and then they'll fly down and they mate and they lay their eggs there on the ground. So if you have like new construction, you've just decimated that breeding ground forever.
Oh,
They never come back.
that's sad.
So why
Oh,
do I know that? I don't. The amount of just useless stuff I know is unnecessary. Hello,
yeah.
Moxie. They're lightning bugs. Yeah, there's fireflies,
He
lightning
just wants
bugs.
to sit right there.
Hello.
Uh,
No, I call them lightning bugs too, but I was using fireflies because that's the more global.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I
And you
wish we
don't
had
see
this
the
here.
G.
We don't.
They're lightning bugs.
Platinum bugs. That's so funny. I was going to say something and I totally forgot. Oh, now I get to have that moment.
1 for 1. Maybe Paul will also know the answer to that too.
If you
He
can,
had my back.
you know the answer. I'm a little bit worried about Paul. He's psychic.
Do you know who Philly Flipper is? Have you seen him before?
It's familiar. Sorry, I don't think
Well,
I
he's
do, though.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Literally everywhere.
I'll have to look him up afterwards.
You should. Do you have any questions for me? Because I feel like I've just overbore on this conversation.
Where is it you want to be on eBay? Like you mentioned that, but you didn't mention the actual goal. So what's your actual goal for eBay?
I did mention it because it's in every one of my reseller videos. So it's 500 is my goal. I'm at 460 around there. So I'm really close.
Like I thought you meant monetarily. Like you want to make this X amount of money or something.
So this is the fun. Okay, I don't think I've ever said this, or maybe I did and I don't remember. So for me, I have nickeled and dimed my expenses to the point where, so what I want to do in order to become full-time is I want to pay off all of my debt.
Right.
As someone who is chronically ill and disabled, like I had a lot of medical debt. So I was very, very blessed in that my parents made my brother and I both a deal when we were young that if we got the grades to go to university, they would pay for it.
That's awesome.
And then both of us got the grades to go to university. And so I was the first one in my family to graduate from college with a 4-year degree. So I don't have that crippling student loan debt.
That's awesome.
Which is amazing.
Right.
But in exchange of that, I have crippling medical debt.
Yeah.
From that time. Well, not much anymore. I only have like more recent debt because in order to get tested for my POTS, that's considered the testing for my POTS was considered experimental, despite the fact that POTS has been a diagnosis since the 50s.
Yeah.
But the testing is considered experimental, so it's not actually covered by insurance.
Yeah, because insurance wants to look for any reason not to pay for something. I know that for a fact.
Also quite expensive. Yeah. So I've been getting that down quite a bit. But I mean, me getting my diagnosis is the whole reason I was able to buy a house, because I'm not spending, $10,000 to $20,000 a year every year of my income just on hospital stays.
Yeah.
So
you're managing it now.
Yeah, it's managed now. So for me, if I can get my debt paid off, which I'm getting there, I'm not there yet. I can live off like $1,400 a month where I live with my mortgage and everything else.
That's amazing. That's my mortgage. It's $1,400 a month.
Like I said, I live in Virginia. I live in the East Coast. I live in a pretty cheap area. So
that's amazing.
If I can get this one last bill paid off, besides my mortgage and my regular like electricity and water and all that crap, and then basic food, like, it'll be a different lifestyle at $1,400 a month, but I'll still be able to live at $1,400 a month. And that's take home. So, if you had most people's businesses, after fees and cost of goods and all that shipping and crap, you need to have double that.
Yeah.
It's about 50% for most businesses I've seen in the reselling space. So that's, I need to be able to bring in $3,000 a month. So right now I'm only at a little over, like I'm at $1,200 a month coming in. So I need to double that. And then I'll be at that point where I can think about transitioning to full time. But I've done that math, but until I get to the point where that math makes sense currently, I don't want to make that leap.
Yeah.
Because
Well, plus when you leave your job, you're going to lose your medical insurance. Well, I mean, even though
that's the
you're
thing is that $1,200 is without medical insurance.
Oh, okay.
Because my medical insurance, due to my pre-existing condition, is $550 a month.
Jesus.
To have the same level of coverage that I do now. And that's why if I lived in the UK, I would be working for myself already because
Yeah.
honestly, that insurance thing is, I think, the reason why we have the capitalistic structure that we do in America is because there is not that social health. Everybody is one medical emergency away from bankruptcy. I think at least over half of Americans are one medical emergency away from bankruptcy.
Oh, it's more than that. It's like 70%.
And that's just
or under the
insane.
1%. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember having to call people as a medical biller and saying, and what a medical biller does is they don't necessarily bill the insurance. They fight with the insurance for the money for the provider. That's what medical billers do. And sometimes when people don't understand their insurance, which insurance is complicated, and it's done that on purpose. So people don't understand what they have and understand what they're doing with it. Most people don't. And they'll go with their AmeriCare, which is crap insurance from, it's state insurance, but it's a when you could go with, it's not like the state. Anyway, if you go outside of your network, you pay for everything. They pay for none of it. And I had to bill some guy $61,000 because he went out of network. And now he has to appeal it. And it's awful. It's so awful. Like I hated that part of the job.
Yeah, no, I am very much one of those people. Like I remember going to TwitchCon in California, and I had my first ear infection I've ever had in my life. I got it from being on the airplane or whatever. And so I'm there second day of the convention, and I'm sitting there I can't see because everything hurts so bad.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there on my phone trying to scroll through on this little tiny screen to figure out where is my insurance accepted.
Yeah.
In San Diego, California. Because I know that that's a thing. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
It's worth the pain to not pay a couple of $1,000s for an ear infection.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. And it's like, my husband, I've explained the system to him more than once. And I'm glad I used to work in that industry because I can understand our bills and when we have them. And it's like, to my husband, it's insane how we do healthcare here. And it's insane anyway. We're like the only westernized country in the entire planet that does healthcare like this. And it's like, what are we doing? Like, it's the rich. It's basically the rich people that are like controlling, sucking up the money. And they really are, it's amazing.
The capitalist oligarchy.
I'm not even against capitalism, but I'm against unchecked capitalism. That's a problem. Very strong, my convictions.
No, I'm just like, okay, do I want to encourage this? Because I would like to have this conversation, but I don't really feel like it's purposeful for this channel.
No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought that up.
Don't be sorry, please. Don't be sorry. We can have this conversation separately. Just not here because we're on the internet and people have strong opinions on the internet that may not be ours. And while I can respect other people's opinions and beliefs, you do you, as long as you don't hurt anybody. I don't care. But, well, I do care. I can't even say that. I do care, but I respect your right to do what you want to do.
To a reason. To a point for me.
Yeah, no. Oh, don't even get me started about people having babies. Like the fact that hospitals will charge for skin to skin, like we put your baby on top of your chest
That's bizarre.
and
Yeah.
we charged you $60 for this. It's
Yeah.
just like you gave me a $60 delivery charge for moving the baby 3 feet. That's basically like that's the average person's width from their bits to their boobs. That's unnecessary. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's unnecessary.
I
Hello. So
was
I'm
gonna say something reseller related, and I totally lost it again.
yeah.
I'm
So back
horrible
to what
at
we were
this.
talking about is it's a very low bar as far as what I need to go for reselling because I'm so unhappy in my current 9 to 5 position that, and I've already had that talk with the person I work for because he and I have worked on and off with each other for the last 13 years and in different aspects of life. Uh, and I've told him it's like, as soon as my business sustains me, I'm out. And he understands that. And
Yeah.
and there are sometimes when he wants me to do something or the things aren't happening fast enough and I'm like, okay, I cannot do this at all. And I think that puts him in a position where he's like, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Because I'm honestly at the point. It's like I feel like I could get to that point faster if this was all I was doing.
Yeah.
But because of that one little like I need the health insurance or I need to get this one thing paid off, I'm like I wanted to do it. I want to broach it smart instead of just being thrown into it. But I've seen
Right.
plenty of people just get thrown into this
And do
full-time
fine.
reselling life and do amazing and
Yeah.
thrive.
Yeah. But yeah, I totally understand what you want to do. Like that, you're doing it the smart way. You're doing it. I mean, I didn't do it that way. We're in debt, and I mean, when we sell our house, we'll be out of debt instantly. But
Right.
because we'll make so much money on our house. I mean, even if we only sell it for 300,000, we'll be
That's the
fine.
thing though. It's like I keep getting so I bought a foreclosure home, right? Which is
Okay.
part
Yeah.
of why I have a lot of issues and why I'm demoing my kitchen now. And there's so many issues trying to demo my kitchen, which again, thank you for giving me grace yesterday.
Oh no, not at all. There was no problem for me.
Maybe you're guessing. So like I've been slowly trying to fix things. Just completely like, after like I hit my 1 year anniversary in this house and my air conditioning failed.
Oh no. I
It
don't even know what
completely
that's like though to have air conditioning. We don't have that here.
oh.
I,
Well,
I know you need
I
it.
live in
I
the
understand
South.
why you
There's
have it.
no way you can
You're in the
live here
South.
without air conditioning.
Oh no. I mean, I visited like Florida before. If I didn't have air conditioning, I would die. I would just die.
Yeah. So like, oh, where was I going with this?
I'm sorry.
So no, I bought a foreclosure home,
Right.
and so I'm now getting these, since the pandemic, housing rates have gone up and all this other stuff, and I'm like, I'm seeing sold comps of my size home for like 1.5 times what I paid for it,
Yeah.
and it's like, man, I could definitely not work for a year if I sold my house. But then where the hell would I go?
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah. And we're gonna run into a small problem with that too. Like, I mean, I've been looking off and on at properties. Like, we're not gonna buy right away, obviously, because we need to build credit. But once we build our credit for about a year, we're gonna have to rent for a year. So I've been looking in like St. Ives area and saying what's currently for rent, just to kind of understand what's out there, how much we're gonna pay. But looking for a house to sell, I mean to buy. Ugh.
No.
Oh no, I'm going from high cost of living to an even higher cost of living. That's the thing. So, yeah.
Well, no, everything in the UK is very expensive.
Yeah, because it's an
And
island. Yeah, but
it's an island and I think the thing okay, so when I was there, wait, okay, you've been there before, right?
yeah, I've
Okay.
been there twice now.
Okay, how long did you stay for each time and do you mind me asking where in the UK that you went to? Hi,
No,
Wendy. I haven't seen
I
you in a
only went
while.
2 times. We went 2 times and we stayed for 2 weeks each time. Basically due to time restraints for being able to take time off because both the times we went, I was working full time at the hospital. Um, and we went to Ely for most of one trip, and which is not that far away from St. Ives. Honestly, it's like I don't know, I think a half-hour drive. And then the other time, we spent half of it was in St. Ives, and then we spent like 3 days. Me, my husband, and his sister and her boyfriend spent 3 days in London. That was a lot of fun. Like I lived a fantasy for 5.5 seconds, and I'm like, oh, maybe we could live in London for a year. Woo! No, like one apartment is like 1-bedroom apartment, 3,000 pounds. I'm like, oh, ouch, no.
Yeah, no.
No. I'm like, never mind. My husband's like, no.
That's interesting. Okay, I had to like look up where St. Ives is because I thought where it was and where it actually is not quite. I thought it was like closer to Wales, and it's at the very tippy tip.
Yeah, well, there's two.
Down there.
Well, there's one at the bottom too. There's 2 St. Ives. I don't know why they did that. Why?
Okay, so which St. Ives are you in? Because I'm looking at the bottom tippy tip.
No, that's the one in Cornwall. You're looking at the one in Cornwall. The one in Cambridgeshire is the one up top, like 2.5 hours north of London.
Okay, Cambridgeshire. That's okay. Yeah, now I know where you
Cambridge
are.
Is. So yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
I do know where Cambridge is. Yeah, we did go there.
That's where he comes from, which is like has like a very like neutral newscaster kind of posh accent. Like I guess it's not too posh, but it's like the newscaster accent, like kind of like where my area is. It's kind of like the newscaster here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I understand where you are now. I was trying to figure out like why I was like with what you're describing, I was very confused as to why it would be that expensive. But now that
it's in a posher area. Yeah.
Now where you've made the differentiation, I understand where it is. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no, you'd have to go back out quite a bit to lower that cost of living.
Yeah, and I don't want to live like so far away from his family and his sister. I mean, it was sister's family, but I don't want to live so far away from his family. I'm like, if we're gonna move to England, we're gonna move like to the town they live in. Like they all live in the same town, so we might as well move to the same town. We'll make it work. We'll figure it out. So,
but the thing is that that's one of the lovely things I loved about the UK is the fact that you could literally get on a train to go anywhere.
Yeah, they have a fantastic train system.
Yeah, because I was in London when I was there, and like I would just take the tube, go explore, take the train, go explore, all on my own.
Yeah.
To the chagrin of my professor, because he kept thinking that someone was going to heckin' steal me. Like, who's going to want me? Nobody's going to want me.
Someone tries to steal me, they'll be giving me right back. I'm very mouthy. I'm very opinionated. Like, you're not meek. Sorry.
I was like, at the time, okay, so I'm 5'9", right?
Yeah.
It's like I'm 5'9", and I had a pixie haircut at the time, like because I had recently just shaved my head before going over there. So like nobody wants me, and that was like the early 2000s. Nobody's gonna want me, and so I just went off and did my own thing.
Yeah.
And that was the one thing. I think that was the only culture shock I had. As like a thin, moderately attractive woman in America, like not being talked to at all. Nobody talked to me at all when I was in the UK. There was one lovely gentleman. No, I'm sorry, there was 2. There was one lovely gentleman that talked to me at a pub at a show just to tell me how American I looked. He was like, because I was wearing a floral wrap skirt. And he was like, you just look so Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, wow. He's not seen Little House on the Prairie, has he? I mean, I guess it could be like a little prairie skirt, but yeah.
And then another gentleman was just to give me direction somewhere, but like nobody talked to me. And when you're in America as a woman and in any kind of metropolitan area, you're gonna get jeered at, yelled at, chatted up, but like nobody cared.
And I think it's very different over there. Yeah. And it's like they have a different sense of like Americans too. It's very interesting how they look at Americans over there, I think.
Well, I feel like you have a more modern approach than I do since I haven't been over there in like 15 years. But please elaborate. I want to know.
Well, I mean, the stereotype of loud and obnoxious. And unfortunately, I fill that stereotype. So.
I'm not loud and obnoxious. most of the time. I'm normally just like, I'm going to sit in the pub and I'm going to have a pint and then I'm going to go do something else. Like,
Yeah.
I'm also there by myself
Yeah. True.
because I didn't have friends over
Oh,
there. So
I know I'm gonna have to make friends. Like that's something. But in a year, I need to make friends. That's not my family.
you don't have any friends already over there.
No. No,
I
I just
mean,
have
you
family.
met your husband, so I figured you made other friends over there too. No.
No. No, I mean his sister, I love her to death. She's like a sister and I love his family, but like there's the thing. Like when we move over there, like my husband doesn't have any friends over there either. So he's gonna make a friend that's not my friend and as well. Like
Okay.
it's our goal for each other. We must make a friend. Well, my goal for him. He doesn't yeah, I have to push him for that.
Well, how are you going to do that? You're going to find your local game shop?
Oh God, that's also a thing. I'm like, just go find a Pathfinder because he, we pay. Okay, I used to play Pathfinder with our friends, and I decided this year not to do it. My husband's playing with my friends with Pathfinder, and it's like find a group. Let's find you a group, and you can Pathfinder it together. But yeah, I'm sure there's many groups over there. He's very weird about it. It's very weird about because I think it's because of the social anxiety. He's very weird about it. So
I don't think that's weird about it because, all right. So, like, I also play Pathfinder as well.
I know,
Okay.
I know. I've heard you talk about it before.
So the thing is that so we stopped playing this year.
Mm,
Well, the last 2 years. So we're playing pretty regularly.
right,
But then the pandemic happened, and so they were
right.
trying to do it online. And
On
I'm
roll 20.
sorry, I can't do it. I can't do
I
it
love
online.
roll 20.
I can't. I'm like, I'm on the computer. I'm doing something completely different because I have video games I could be playing and I have YouTube videos I could be watching. Like it's too like you basically are making me sit in front of the world and telling me to focus on y'all talking about stuff. That's not gonna happen
That's so
to
funny.
me
Yeah.
at all. That's my ADHD brain. I'm
I think
like, okay.
I was the only one though that actually liked it. Like on roll 20, everybody else hated it. They wanted to go back to the paper. I just found it so daunting to play with a paper. Like I don't like the paper. So and
I
have to
like
look
the
at
paper.
everything in the damn book. I know. I'm not like I've never been like a Pathfinder enthusiast, but I've been playing off and on since I was 20.
Well, you say that, but okay, so like having my friends around me, right? And that forces me to focus on them and what they're saying and what they're doing, and then
Right,
not having
true.
distractions in front of me and only having the books
Right.
resources in front of me. Like that made me focus on what was going on. And then it also depends on your DM. Like literally your dungeon master is going to make or break any campaign, no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah.
I sound like such a nerd right now.
No, and then what's wrong? There's nothing wrong with sounding like a nerd.
No, it's just like, and so like I totally understand your husband's
Yeah.
ideology on that, but I also know that there's plenty of local game shops. So if one doesn't work out for you, you can try to find another one.
The problem is he doesn't understand why he feels this way, but he feels like it's too nerdy to go there. I know. I'm like, what? I'm like, there's nothing wrong with being a nerd. Plus, you are not nerdy.
Well, yes, you are already a nerd.
But
I've embraced how nerdy I am.
he's also British, and I think that comes with a level of pride that they have that's weird, in my opinion.
It's like,
He's a
okay,
snob. He's a little bit of a snob.
if there weren't other nerdy people, the shop wouldn't exist.
I
Just explain
know.
that to, it's like the shop exists to
Yeah.
serve you.
Yeah.
So think of it as you are partaking in the services most fitting to you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. He's weird about it. Yeah.
I will say that was maybe another culture shock is me going into a bookstore being so excited that there were all these books and it was like the typical like Notting Hill experience where you come in and it's like walls of bookshelves everywhere and then I'm like, I'm going to go downstairs. And it's just like going behind the curtain in like video rentals. And that as like a young 20-year-old was a lot for me. It's like I come downstairs and it's like, oh no, if you don't know what I'm talking about, so there are a lot of books like well, the ones I went to when I was in London, it was like a normal bookshelf, like a normal bookstop. And then some of them had a basement. The basement
Had adult stuff.
has adult books, adult things.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very weird about their whole adult setup. They are weird about it.
So I was like, oh, cool, there's another floor. And I'm like all excited thinking I'm going to find some really cool old books. I found bits instead. And it was just a lot
Yeah,
for
it's
me.
amazing.
But yeah,
I
no,
mean, it being 20, that's funny. But yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on here and for just being totally down for talking about whatever.
Of course.
So
It's
how
so
are you
fun.
feeling now? Okay, so when we talked about before,
Hmm.
by the way, I was gonna talk about this in my next video. So like as an adult, I have sorry,
That's
something got
okay.
in my eye. As an adult, I have been checking things off my list as far as like my childhood we talked about before going on was very difficult. Like I didn't have friends until I was in high school because I was too smart for the normal kids and I was too weird for the smart kids because I did get separated out to gifted. So like once a week they shipped
Oh,
me
yeah.
off to the gifted class and I had to do other things. But so I didn't have friends until I got to high school where I found other people that were just as weird and nerdy as I was. And so my childhood was very hard for a lot of reasons, in addition to not having friends, but for social reasons. And then also, my health issues. I've always had health issues as well.
Right.
And so as an adult, being able to exhaust all resources until I figure out what's wrong with me, I got allergy tested. And now I don't have sinus infections 5 to 6 times a year. I
Oh,
don't get bronchitis once a year. I get
that's
strep
good.
throat once a year, like that kind of thing. And then I finally got a POTS diagnosis, so now I'm not in the hospital 4 to 5 times a year. Well, I just recently got tested and diagnosed for ADHD. It's
Mm,
like, and all that is because TikTok was like, hey. And so I finally went to a psychiatrist and got tested for that. And it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that's normal.
yeah.
So, and we were talking about depression earlier. I get depressed, like, but my depression is like I can't do anything. Like I'll get like I have the high functioning depression where it's like I can't have a breakdown right now. And so
Right.
I'm gonna hold off until I can have one. And then it's gonna be like once I'm like I relax, it's just like full on panic attack, not able to do anything. Like depression where like it's just a void.
Yeah. I'm lucky in that way. I don't really have. I When I was younger, I had panic attacks quite often. I don't now, but yeah. As I gotten older, I think that's gotten easier for me, and my depression's gotten easier for me as I've gotten older. But I don't take any antidepressants for it because every time I have, it really just, to be honest, it fucks up my sex life every time. So
Most of them
I won't.
do. Most of them
Yeah,
do that.
yeah, and it makes me feel,
You need
numb.
that vitamin D.
Yeah, I need it. Yeah. But yeah, I don't like how I feel on them, and I don't feel like they do what they're supposed to for me, and I think mine's more of a, um I don't know. It's just it's a life thing for me. I know I'm going to deal with this forever, and I've resigned myself to that, but mine's very cyclical. And in the
Are
winter
you
it's worse, but
Oh, seasonal depression is
yeah.
terrible. Like,
I think it's on top of it too. But mine's pretty cyclical. Like I go through bouts of depression through every month. So,
do you just get to the point, like, so for you, for me, my depression can be just like I'm just sad. Like it's an immediate switch. It's like everything will be fine, and then suddenly something inside my brain just turns off,
yeah.
and it's like I just want to cry all the time,
Well, I
and I
think part
can't.
of that is being a woman too, and that our other like hormones interact. If you already have depression, like it interacts with it. I think it like heightens it in a way sometimes, especially when you're around that time, you know? I mean, it's every woman has it. So
Well, I don't want to say that because there are people that
well,
don't identify as female that
that's
also have
true.
that issue
I
as
meant
well. So
yeah, sorry.
it's okay. It I always try to make that, because I don't want anybody to
Yeah,
hear that
I
kind
feel bad.
of binary language and not feel
Yeah,
welcome here, because I recognize that there is more than just
that's true.
biology and
Yes.
gender. So
Yeah, I meant, yeah, you know what I mean. I'm sorry.
I no,
I
it's
feel
okay.
awkward
It's like it's okay. I just appreciate that it's been more accepting, and like
now.
people that, aren't, in their 20s still have they've been conditioned to that binary. So it's hard to
Yeah.
break out of that. So I just always like, okay,
Yeah.
when I hear it, I know that you don't have that
No.
mentality, but
No.
it's
No,
easy
and
in
thank you.
language.
Thank you for saying it.
It's easy in language to go back to that comfort as well. So
I
I
think I
just,
was really trying to say it's a natural thing,
right. It
and not
is.
to say and then natural. It's not. It's something we always make taboo, and I think in society, which I think is stupid. But
Well, we were talking about so you have two different Instagrams. You have more of a Thrifty that focuses on that, and then you have one that you're a little bit more open to posting your ideology on it as
right,
well. And that's part of why I wanted to have you on, is because I feel like ideologically we're very similar and compatible in that way.
right,
So I know for a fact that you don't feel that way. I just, that's why I'm saying that as
yeah,
well. And then, I also try to make my Twitch stream a
yeah.
very inclusive and understanding
That's
place,
good.
because I do have a lot of friends that are in LGBTQIA plus
Yeah,
category. So I try to make sure
me too.
everything is welcoming. And if you're not down with that, then there's the unsubscribe button down there somewhere. Have a nice day.
Exactly. That's what I say too. If you don't like it, it is funny because that the Instagram that's Melissa Bandridge, which is more of my like kind of political have at it kind of one. It used to be my reselling one. It used to be Vandy's Closet, and that's what my Poshmark was. That's what my original YouTube name was too. Was Vandy's Closet, and I changed it because I don't know if I'm going to identify with that Vandy's Closet when I move, and I kind of like the Thrifty Broad better. And I don't know. I picked it because it's a play on my last name.
I like broad. I like that you use that, because I've always I like that I do a lot of history, like the cause tubing, history cause tubing. Which, by the way, if you're interested in learning vintage clothes or more about
Oh
fashion, and you do
yeah,
reselling and you do reselling, I would highly recommend you look up some stuff on vintage cause tubing and history bounding, because that gives you a lot of the language, like how to identify different things with like lapel styles and collar styles and sleeve lengths and tailoring and fabric. Like if you sell a lot of clothes, that's a really great place to get something that's not necessarily reselling focused, but more about fashion focus as well. I mean, that's true, because I feel like if you like me as a person, because if you like me and you like the content and I'm giving you value in the content that I'm making, you will subscribe of your own accord. I am definitely one of those people that only subscribe to people I have watched multiple videos of. Like if I find one video and I like it, I will watch more of your videos. If I really like it, I will literally watch your entire catalog. And at some point in there, I might remember to subscribe to you. But I'm one of those people that rarely use the like button, and I'm subscribed to very few people because of the fact that, like, unless I really like it,
yeah,
the thing is that even if I don't subscribe to somebody, I will still, if I liked them or I like some of their videos, I will still type their name into YouTube chat and check on them every couple of months just to
right.
see, okay, hey, has their content changed to where like maybe I can give them another try? And I will do that. And I've done that with a couple of people where it's like, I watched one of their videos after subscribing to them and I didn't like that. So I unsubscribed. And then I
Yeah,
came back a couple months later and they were doing content. And it was just like that one outlier that rubbed me the wrong way. And I come back to it. Like, and people got to grow on me.
yeah,
Like, I feel like Tracy said that in one of her lives, people got to grow on you. Like, if you just see that first video, but then I'll see them in lives and other people that I jive with, then okay, I'll give them another try. So maybe that one video was just a bad video and I'll try again. But that's the kind of person I am. Telling me to subscribe or like, I'm not going to do that.
Well, just ignore any of my pop-ups on my videos. Just ignore
No,
them like they don't exist.
okay, that's just me as a person,
Okay,
okay? I know that that's not the YouTube consensus on here. Like, pretty much everybody who's in chat that has a YouTube channel over there on the side, I see y'all at some point either have a pop-up or say like and subscribe. And I don't fault anybody for that.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Like,
I'm just
you
teasing.
do you. Like everybody's reselling business is completely different.
Yeah,
Everybody's YouTube channel is completely different. Everybody does their social media different because every person is
buddy is
different.
different. Yeah.
And I have nothing but respect for you and your business, and I have nothing but respect for you and you as your person. If I don't like your content, that's nothing against you as a person. It's just there is a finite amount of time on this earth.
Yeah.
I will still give you another go, but I might not have you in my normal feed. So,
And it's funny because I will often subscribe to someone right off the bat. I'll subscribe just so I don't lose them, and then because I'll forget what their name was even to even go back to them ever again. I'll subscribe, and if I watch them for a while and I don't like their content, then I'll unsubscribe. And I wish there's people you can just hide. Like people keep popping up on my feed that I never want to watch ever again. Because
there is, you
I'm
say
the
not
person.
interested. You click on those three little dots on the side, you
Oh,
say not interested.
and you'll never see them
Now,
again.
no, because YouTube sucks. YouTube
Okay, yeah,
sucks
because I've
balls.
done that before. I'm pretty sure, and it comes back eventually.
It comes back because YouTube has their favorites.
Yeah.
So if something is trending, or if it's like, Jake Paul, I will still see him sometimes. So I have 4 YouTube channels. I only upload on 2 of them because I'm very niched out.
Mm-hmm.
So on Bob Buys, which is this channel, I have all reselling content, all like furniture restoration type of content. That's what I have here. Um, because I feel like that's all reselling. Like you're buying a piece of furniture, you're refinishing it, and you're flipping it. So all my reselling content is one place. I have Heroin Bob, which is all my gaming and like trashy content, like what are they called? Like I was really big into like makeup YouTube for a while, so that was
Mm,
on there, and like the commentary channels. That's what it is. Commentary channels and like
right.
news. So like Philip DeFranco is on that one. So I have like, and D'Angelo Wallace is on there. So I have those on that channel. But then I have Costubing, which is Bob Bespoke, and that has like Bernadette
Oh,
Banner and um, Monica Zabrowski. Not Monica. I can't. I put her name in the comments or something. But and then like Jessica out of the closet. So it's Jessica Forsgaard, Ozen Kelsgaard, something like that. But she also has pots, but
okay.
she does a lot of like history out of the closet. So she does LGBTQIA plus
Oh,
history
that's
in
cool.
and in media and stuff as well. Her and her wife just had a baby, and it's just and she dresses completely vintage, head to toe. She looks like she stepped out of a vintage ad, like a vintage
That's
1950s
amazing.
ad. She's absolutely gorgeous. Uh, but I have all of that in one area because that's all sewing history content related. And then I have a book channel, which I actually do upload on, but I only have like Book Pilled, which is actually Matt Thriftalife. Have you ever heard of Matt from Thriftalife?
Yes, yes. I actually heard about him on your channel. I watched your interview with him, and then I went over and watched his channel. So he's very interesting.
Yes.
And I did
He's
buy his little book for $25.
what book?
His
You didn't have to.
manifesto. I know it's a
Oh,
freebie, but I'm like, I'm gonna pay you for putting this together. Here's $25.
okay. Yeah, no, that's an amazing bolo list.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like Matt is amazing, and he also has a book channel, and like I tried to do booktube, but when I wanted to do
Booktube.
booktube, yeah, when I wanted to do there's Costube, which is the history thing I talk about with Bob Bespoke. There's booktube, which is just about books. When I
Yeah.
wanted to do booktube, it was pretty much just people doing new releases, and it was a lot of YA. So I thought that's what you had to do.
Right.
And so, I put a couple of those videos out, and they did crap because I'm not going to buy 30 new books every month and try to read them all because I'm not interested in that many books. So when I saw Matt try to do his vintage sci-fi, and I realized that there's a whole sub niche, like super niched out, that do vintage fantasy and sci-fi. I was like,
I think if you could think of a topic, there's a YouTube content for it.
yeah, but there's more content out there now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I have a book channel too, but that's
That's
all
cool
just
though.
book stuff. But I'm one of those people where it's like I have to have everything in a place. I will go to different places.
Everything in a compartment.
Everything is in a compartment, but all of them help.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, like if I'm watching a lot of gaming and commentary stuff on the Heroin Bob's channel, I know the latest releases, I know what's trending in media, I know what
Right.
is trending as far as like pop culture is going because that's in the news cycle. That's what commentary is talking about. So I have that information for reselling. If I'm doing
True.
like the cause tubing, I'm learning more about fabric content. I'm learning more about niched out what people's sewing projects are. So that's where I found out a lot about dark academia and cottagecore and all those subgenres that and like pastel goth and that kind of stuff. Like, so I learn about those tags, like what are, because those people aren't reselling, but that's what they're searching for when they're
Right.
searching for stuff to build out their closets or to build out their fashion when they're doing their Instagram pictures. So those kind of keywords are important to know. And that's what I'm learning there, plus sewing techniques for when I buy something and I don't even realize that the seam's ripped out. I know how to fix it now. And, you know, with books, like pre-barcode books are something that I've always been really interested in. And you don't do Amazon at all, but there are a ton of Amazon resellers in my area.
Oh,
And
there's a ton in my area too. I see them.
those are the only books that are left behind because they don't even bother to look at them because they
Right.
can't just go bloop, bloop, bloop.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so those are and some of those are very valuable. So
Mhm.
my vintage book knowledge helps in my reselling there.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we have reselling content and so if you have interests outside of reselling, continue
It'll
to
help.
consume that content because you'll be surprised how that can help you
Right.
in your business.
Right. Yeah, and I'm gonna start watching the cause tubing because I didn't even know there was a thing until you mentioned it on one of your videos. I'm like, huh, I need to watch that. And yeah, so I need to start. Do you have anyone like specifically you would recommend?
That would depend on what area you're interested in learning in.
Oh man.
So like if you're wanting women's fashion, I can
Yes.
give you that. If you're wanting men's fashion, I'm wanting that. If you give me an era, like if you want Georgian history, I can give you that. If you want if you
Give me
want
all the
Edwardian,
just kidding.
I I spend a lot of time online. I don't think people like
I
all
do
right,
too.
so give me something very
Okay.
niche that you would want to learn more about, and I might be able to help you with that.
Um I
Y'all
think
are
I think like turn of the century type.
what century?
This century. Well, I mean the 20th century. Turn of like the 20th century.
So if you're talking late 1800s, early
Yes.
1900s, is that
Yes.
correct? All right.
Yes.
So I can niche that even more. So are you looking for American or UK?
UK.
UK.
Yeah, because that's where
Interesting.
I'm going. So I need that.
Women's or men's?
Both.
Both.
I'm
Okay.
not going to discriminate there.
I can give you four that I would recommend to you. Let me switch over to my other. So Bernadette Banner would be one of them. Bernadette Banner, and
Okay.
let me go over to my actual channel so I can look at my subscriptions. And this is just for anybody. If you're looking for Victorian and Edwardian style, which is about the time. So if you're
Yeah.
looking for like 1880 to 1920, you're looking at the end of the Victorian era, beginning of the Edwardian era. If you're looking at it commercially, it would be considered the Gilded Age, especially if you're looking more at American fashion. that's probably more information than you really wanted. So you have Bernadette Banner. You have Antique Menswear. He actually lives in Japan, but most of his wardrobe is from the Victorian Edwardian era.
That's cool.
And then you are going to have Pinsent, so Pinsent, Pinsent Tailoring. He actually that's actually his full-time job is he
Oh, nice.
does bespoke recreations from the Georgian area to 1940. He's lovely. And need another lady in here. I'd probably also recommend Nicole Rudolph because her background is in shoes. She'll be able to give you Bernadette. You know who Bernadette Banner is, Tracy? I adore you.
It's amazing. I have way more YouTube to consume now.
Bernadette is lovely. I love the way she speaks. And none of this is technically reselling related, but
it can be.
But like I said, it can be because a lot of these people have such deep knowledge about clothing and about how it's made, and a lot of them go into the history of how something is made, how patterns were created, that it really helps you, especially if you're someone who, like myself, really adore vintage clothing and really adore antique clothing. Allows you to like be on the lookout for stuff when you're at antique sourcing or if you're on the thrift store. Like it allows you to date things, understand when something's high quality or well stitched or well made.
Yeah.
And it can be so helpful. Also, you know, Tracy, I still got to stitch that thing together. I'm sure if you've watched any of my videos, you see it's in my background, so I don't forget it because I'm definitely one of those out of sight, out of mind people. So if I leave it out, I definitely will fix it. But that is one of the things that I definitely want to fix because I wish it had fit me. But yeah, but there's that, and we lost everybody while I nerded out about clothes for a hot minute.
No.
But yeah. If that's something you're interested in, especially like the reason why I'm interested in it is because I want to eventually make my own clothes because I have such a hard time finding clothes for myself.
Right.
And, you know, you're petite.
Well, I'm short and fat, so that doesn't help me. No, because I swear, all the plus size clothing, everyone's tall and not chesty. I'm like, I have a chest. So it's like weird. It's like, it's bizarre to me. Like, I mean, it's better now, but like 10 years ago, like going to find like a well-fitting bra in a plus size shop, it was like, oh, we don't carry above a D. I'm like, what? Like, how?
I think that's just anywhere. Anywhere didn't carry above a double D.
Yeah. I'm a triple D. I need more.
Yeah, no, I have the opposite problem, which is why I made the video with my friend, because, you know, she's short, but also has boobs. So she has different issues than I do as tall. And like trying to find a 32-inch inseam as a woman is about as likely as going into a regular shop and finding a bra over the size double D.
Yeah.
So, but now that there's internet and more catalog options, it's a lot easier to find it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love the internet age. Like, I mean, I was born in 75, so I remember a time before lots of computers, but I like this age way better. Like, I always thought I was born too early. Like, I should have been born like 300 years in the future. Like, I want a flying car. Give me my car. My 8th grade science teacher said, when you're older, you're going to have a flying car. Where is it?
No.
Where is it, Dr. Virtue? Where is it?
That's also part of the reason why I like doing the vintage book channels, because I'm reading a lot of vintage sci-fi, and their vision for the future is just so sad sometimes.
I know, because like that did not
get realized. But like some things are correct. So if you think about it, you know, back in the 60s and 70s, this computing power for this phone would take multiple buildings.
Right.
And like months to have the same processing power. And it's literally like in your hand. This fits in my hand, and it is both a phone and a computer and a calculator and a camera and a camcorder. And it fits in your hand.
And I have to say, in school, I remember being in math class, and they're like, "You will not have a calculator when you're an adult."
Like now you have your
Yes,
whole phone and all
yes,
of
I
the
will.
internet.
And I have not used algebra a day in my life. Okay.
Yeah, Trace, that's part of the reason why I that's why I offered you to be on here, is because, I at one point wanted to be a model in my life, and then I went to New York one time and did the rounds to go to the agencies to see, and I was just like, no, I don't want to do this. I can't do this. But like, you're also a tall lady and you have that 34-inch inseam, so I know you understand what it's like to be tall and try to find clothes that fit.
I wish. Although it is hard to find clothes for my husband.
How
He's
tall is
6
your
foot.
husband?
He's
He's
6 foot.
6'5".
No, 6 foot.
Oh, okay.
Oh God, 6'5". That'd be even harder. We would
Yeah,
look
no,
really weird because I'm 5'1". I'm as tall as your friend.
you
I'm as
you
tall as
you
Donna.
you say that. So fun fact. So my dad has a sister, and so she's half Japanese, not even 5 feet tall, and her husband is a full-blooded Scotsman who is 6'5",
Jeez.
who is a giant hippie. They're both giant hippies. And he has
That's
had the
great.
same long ponytail, and he's the epitome of gentle giant. But
That's
yeah, like 2 of her equal him, and it's adorable.
Yeah.
I'm sure y'all are adorable too. Are you
Yeah.
looking forward to moving to the UK?
Yes, absolutely. I've always wanted to live out in another country. I'm so excited.
So
So
before traveling to the UK, meet your husband's family and stuff, like, have you traveled very much?
no, not a whole bunch. Like I've gone to I went on a cruise to the Caribbean. I went to Mexico, Belize, and Honduras, and that I went
I've done
to.
that too.
I've gone to Canada, and beyond England, that's the only places I've been. So yeah.
I've never been to Canada. I've never been to Canada at
Well, I
all.
live 3 hours away from Canada, so
Well, that makes sense.
yeah, it's like
Well,
driving
good
to
night,
America.
Tracy. Thank you for joining us. I know this has gone for a while, so if
I
you
know.
ever need to exit out gracefully, I'm totally cool, but I'm just enjoying having somebody talk to that also likes a lot of the same stuff I do. And that's something that's interesting. I don't know if, like I mentioned, I don't really have a whole lot of friends. And like I used to play roller derby.
Oh
And the reason
yeah,
why I joined roller derby is one, because I've been roller skating since I was 2, but also because I was hoping to find a lot of like-minded women.
right.
And it literally hasn't been until I created this YouTube channel that I've been able to find a lot of women that I really enjoy being around and talking to on a regular basis, because they're smart, they're business oriented, they're very goal driven and focused. Like, it's been absolutely lovely. And I don't know if you've also have you made friends in the reselling space since
Mhm.
starting YouTube as well?
Not necessarily from YouTube. Like I made a friend through Instagram. Her name is Umnia. She lives in North Carolina, and I would consider her my best friend. Like I talk to her all the time, and it was funny because she had posted something about a Muslim. She used to be a Muslim. She came from Iraq, and she posted something about a holiday, and I didn't know. I had never heard of it, so I asked her a question about it, and then we started talking, and the rest is history. And it's really kind of awesome. And she's like way younger than me, but we have a lot of the same thought processes.
Right.
And it's been great. It's like making friends as an adult is hard. It really is so much harder than it should be, because I'm I'm not very good at understanding social cues sometimes. Like I'm actually really bad at it. I've learned the social cues that I do recognize. I had to learn them. Like it is not natural to me. And so I will say something, and I will do something, or I will interpret things wrong from people. Like I think they want to be my friend, and really there was just them being too nice. And it's like, what? Like I really hate that dynamic of being an adult. People just don't speak their mind. It's like, just tell me. You don't like me, fine. Just tell me that. So I know where I stand. Don't
That
pretend to like me, and then I think you like me, and then like I like you, and then we have to have this weird dance about becoming friends, but not really.
See, I don't have that dance because I am that person that says what I think all
Me
of the
too.
time.
Good. I
So,
like that.
but that can be off-putting.
Yeah, I
So
know.
people just don't like me. Or because I'm 5'9", like they're intimidated by me.
I'm
Because
loud, they're intimidated by me.
oh,
You don't have to be tall. You just have to be loud sometimes.
I'm
Yeah.
not loud though.
Yeah. I don't even think it's one thing. I don't
Well,
even think it's one thing. I think it's I'm very outspoken. I'm very blunt, and people often can say that I'm rude because I'm blunt. But no, I'm just not sugarcoating it. Because you're not a
right.
child, and I shouldn't have to do that for you. You're an adult.
Preaching to the choir. That's the thing. So, yeah, I was absolutely blessed by going and visiting Alicia and Victoria and Jess. Like, well, Jess flew in like I did to go visit them in Mississippi. And when I watched all their videos, I had the most serious RBF. They would like try to get my attention. I'm just like, in all of their videos, and it looks like I'm having a miserable time, but I was enjoying it. But that's just what my face looks like.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to smile all the time. It's
I
a very
don't smile,
misogynistic aspect that people think, oh, you should be smiling.
well, no, it's just, but to me, I feel like that's speaking more, to me, I interpret it as like, okay, well, now I understand why people don't think I like them or I'm intimidated. It's because if that's my natural face all the time when I don't have to, I do mask quite often. Like I do the up tilted mouth when I'm out in public.
Right.
I look approachable. But like to me that meant like I literally flew hundreds of miles to go with people I'd only met on the internet and hang out with for the first time, to stay at Super Geeks Victoria's like uncle's house, who I've never met before. He was absolutely lovely. But like, if you look back 20 years ago, people would be like, you're out of your dang mind. You met some people on the internet, you're flying hundreds of miles to go stay with their uncle somewhere. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
And they were amazing. And they're still amazing.
Right.
And I'm so glad to have them as friends. And to me, when I see those, I'm like, oh, well, now I understand why people think I'm intimidating. But also, like, I didn't mask around them at all. Like, I just felt totally comfortable and they accepted me who I was. And that means a lot to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to, like, in my like 20s and probably my early 30s, I tried to be like different because that's what I thought I had to be. And I decided in my 40s, fuck that. Sorry. Probably shouldn't swear on your YouTube channel. But
no, I mean, I did it earlier too.
That's true. And you can swear on YouTube and not get demonetized. I don't know why people freak out about that. Like, there are people that will freak out. I'm like, you won't get demonetized for that. It's like too much. You get demonetized for that.
Well, to me, it's like, as far as this channel is concerned, like for Bob Buys, I don't feel like it's necessary because it's just like, look at this thing I bought. Here's the history of this thing I bought. I sold this thing for this amount of money. Like, at no point does there need to be, that language is not necessary to communicate those things. And that's what this channel is about. Or if I'm doing a tutorial about something or explaining how to clean something, yes, I'm still alive, Robert. Melissa told me she doesn't have a time constraint, and so I'm taking advantage of her and just having a lovely chat. So if people are going to come as they want to, basically I'm being lazy and not having to put out a pre-recorded, and also getting to have a lovely chat and get to know somebody that I'm interested in as well. So this is very selfish. So if you watch this back and you're still watching it, congratulations, you have won the endurance test.
I know, you're amazing.
But yeah, like I totally get that, Melissa. That's why I wanted you to have you on here, is because I saw your other side of the Instagram, which, by the way, you have 10,000 followers over there.
I did have 12.
What, you're like, I did have 12. What did you do to lose 2,000 people?
Went completely political.
Oh,
I spoke my mind. I lost a lot of Republicans because they told me. I got a lot of DMs. Like, that's okay.
Well, I like, if you can be Republican.
I have nothing against Republicans. I have something against certain ideas.
Right. You should be able to exist just like somebody else should be able to exist. And that's
Exactly.
and I try to be understanding because, you know, the owner of the business that I work for is
You don't even need to say it. I think we
I
understand.
the owner of the business I have is very is a lot sometimes, and so is my family. You know, my dad has voted Republican majority of the time, and that's okay. He has different viewpoints. The thing is that both my parents vote, and they've always told me, like they took me to the polling station since I was little, and they've always said, even though our votes cancel each other out, because my mom has always voted Democrat and my dad has always voted Republican, we're still going to vote because that's our civic duty.
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely.
And you know, my parents have been married way too long, in my opinion. They're still married. They still live in the same house. They
Yeah.
still love each other.
Yeah.
But they do have completely different ideologies on a lot of things. And you can still be respectful of someone else's viewpoints, and you can still care about them and have them in your life. You can just do your best to state your opinion. And if they don't agree with that, then they're allowed to do that because you can't, people have body autonomy.
Yeah.
That includes their thoughts and opinions.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's important. And that's what I would strive to do here is like, you know, you're allowed to voice your opinions on certain things, and I'm okay with that. I will give you how I feel, and we can just respect each other differently,
Yeah.
our differences, and that's fine.
And I was okay with losing the 2,000 subscribers. I mean, followers. It's fine. Like um, and it's weird because it kind of like evolved that way because I was basically venting my frustration at certain things that were happening,
Right.
and I used that as my tool. And then I realized I was only really doing political things, and then I decided to and the reason I had so many, it was from mainly ThreadUp content because I was doing ThreadUp
Threada?
content so much for a long time. And then ThreadUp changed their entire system, and I really stopped doing ThreadUp. So majority of the people that were following me for a different reason. So
Right.
also that could probably play into it too. That's
Do
why
you
I
know
decided
anything
to,
about that? I thought
huh?
so. I did see that you had a lot of ThreadUp content, but they
Yeah.
have done like almost a complete 180.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like
Back in
they don't even
November
do
of 20,
payouts anymore, do they? They just give you credit.
huh? No, no, they have payouts. No, no, I have kits right now, but I had to create a second account to do it, and then I got cut off again. So yeah.
You got cut off again?
Oh yeah. Like my original account has been cut off for a year. And so I changed the address on it because that's against their terms of service. You can't have two accounts have the same physical mailing address. So the other one does not. And so I changed the physical mailing address and actually changed the name of that one back to my maiden name. And then I created my new one with a different, I basically did my email address plus the plus TU before the at Gmail. So I can create a whole new other account. And 17 boxes in, I got cut off again. They don't pay on fast fashion anymore. So if you send in Forever 21, you get zero payout. You don't even get credit for that. You do get a payout though. Like I've made like, I mean, what, $2,000 off of my 17 kits I've sent in, but you don't make nearly as much as you used to. And I don't like how they cut off some people and they don't redo it. And like, if it's anything like my other account, this account's gonna be cut off for what, over a year before I can use them again. So no, I'm kind of done with ThreadUp now. So like forever. And they don't exist in the UK anyway, so
So that's interesting. So you brought up ThreadUp, right? And
yeah.
I brought up CosTubing earlier.
Yeah.
A lot of the CosTubers are sponsored by ThreadUp.
Interesting.
Because they do a lot of history bounding, so they'll build outfits based off of stuff that they purchased from ThreadUp.
Right.
ThreadUp gave them credit, and they bought stuff.
Huh.
But I like watching those because it's interesting to see as someone who doesn't resell what they're buying from these online consignment platforms. Because I feel like that's important to know as someone who does reselling on different platforms. That's so interesting.
Yeah, and Victoria brought up a good thing. On the old accounts, they'll still pay you out for fast fashion. It's new accounts. Like so my new account, I don't get paid out for fast fashion and I don't send anything fast fashion in. But my old account, if I was able to send anything in, I could still get paid out for fast fashion because they grandfather people in. But I bet you money at some point they're going to take that away. So But you never got very much anyway for fast fashion, to be honest. So
I would no, I have never desired to sell on ThreadUp just because of the fact that I remember when in 2009 when they started,
yeah,
I sent them so much Stella McCartney ex Adidas to them because I worked for Adidas at the
right,
time.
right,
So
right,
it was
right,
just like I can't resell it myself because
right,
that's against your policy is working for Adidas. You can't resell
right,
it yourself. So I just like send it in. If they give me money, cool. If they don't, whatever. I'm not selling it on eBay or whatever, which is against your employee thing.
right.
So I would get a tennis dress. I'd send them a tennis dress and they'd give me like $10 for it. And that same tennis dress on eBay was going for $130, $150.
Well,
Just
and
like,
they're not that smart either when it comes to the stuff that they take in. Like they use an algorithm and it's not always the smartest thing. And also people don't also realize you have to up your prices to make any money on and a lot of people didn't realize that. So
Robert, can I ask you a question? I know you're in the chat. So, what do you mean by a giggity? Is it just like an accidental? Yes, if you're wondering if it's like an accidental like lewd comment, yes, there's allusions and lewd comments in this chat at different times. But like sometimes you say there are many giggities, and I've realized from streaming on Twitch that I say stuff that people take as lewd or untoward, and I don't mean it that way. I'm just saying words, and I'm guessing my wording is just bad.
what's
So
giggity? I have a dumb
have you
question.
have you ever watched Family Guy?
No, I was
Okay.
never into that
It's
show.
it's from Family Guy. There's a
Okay.
character on there called Quagmire who
Okay.
single man has a lot of female companions. And so when anybody's like, making any kind of lewd comment, he's like giggity. So that's what I'm interpreting it to be, but I don't
Okay.
know accidental thing has certain context. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you, Robert. I appreciate that. So I've honestly never met anybody who hasn't watched Family Guy before, so that's neat.
I think I've watched like one episode. It just wasn't my thing. Like I also don't like South Park. I just for whatever reason. Okay, no, I like one episode. It was a Sally Struthers episode. It was funny, but otherwise, I don't really like South Park either.
That's okay. I was just wondering. So what kind of content do you like to watch besides YouTube content? Like what actual like media content do you like consuming?
Um. Oh, outside of YouTube, like what shows do I like watching?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Movies,
Well,
shows.
right now we're watching Outlander, which is interesting. But I don't know. We really stick to a lot of sci-fi stuff. I love sci-fi, so I watch pretty much all the sci-fi movies or shows that there is. I'll watch it usually.
Have you watched Squid Games yet?
Yes, we binged it in 3 days.
I binged it in one day because I was sick. I watched the whole thing, and the
Yeah.
boy didn't like. He was working while I was watching it, or I don't know what he was doing actually, to be honest. I don't know if he was working outside or he was doing something else. But he came in once it got dark, and he like started to come in, and I was like, "No, go away. You're gonna want to watch this, and I don't want you to ruin it." So I shoot him away, and he binged it all in like I think a day two after
Yeah.
he finally got around to watching it. But yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
Me too. I'm weird. Like, and it's weird because even when we were done watching it, we liked it. And I heard that there's going to be a second season of Squid Game too.
Oh,
But
absolutely, they set it up for that.
yeah, and it's like I liked it, but to be as phenomenon as it is a little bizarre. I think for
No,
the
it's
content.
to me, it's not a phenomenon, and that's for a couple of reasons.
Okay,
So, um, if you're talking about American culture, it's a phenomenon in Western culture because that kind of media is
right.
not prevalent.
That's
Like
true. That's true. Yeah.
that kind of media pushed out to an American and UK audience. That's like groundbreaking
Yeah.
because most American media, when you see it, it's like there's a happy ending, everybody lives. That's part of why if George R. R. Martin, Game of Thrones, like that's
Yeah.
how come that enraptured everybody is
Oh
because of the
yeah.
fact it was such a departure from normal American media culture. Where like the main character always wins and
Oh
lives
yeah.
and
And no
gets the
character was
girl,
safe. And that
and
was
no
like
character was. And that's the thing, like no character was safe, and that's why I
Victoria.
feel like it had by Victoria, thank you. And that's why it was so popular and I feel like in Western culture is because it was so different. It's because
Right.
no character was safe. And it's the same thing with Squid Games where really I honestly didn't even know if the main character was going to make it up until
Right?
the end. And that's what's interesting for Western cultures because that's such a departure from what is our norm.
Yeah.
Versus in Eastern culture, that was more one normal because if you've
Right.
ever watched Battle Royale, which is a movie from the early 2000s, Japanese movie. If you
Mm,
ever watched a lot of anime or a lot of K-drama or anything like that, that's kind of a normal thing to watch. But the social connotations that were depicted in like the classism that was depicted in
right.
Squid Games, that resounded with a lot of South Koreans, which is why it was very popular in the East market as well. So
Right.
they were very popular in both the Western market and the Eastern market, but for completely polar
Different
opposite
reasons.
reasons.
Yeah.
So it like literally hit every part it could, which is why it's Netflix's best performing series, is because it
Right.
was something new and innovative in the West, but so poignant in the East.
Right. And I'm looking forward to season 2.
But like you watch a lot of sci-fi, so did you
Right.
watch like Farscape,
Yes.
all
Oh
the
my
Star
god, yes.
Treks,
I ended up watching that a few times.
all the Star Treks?
Okay, so Star Trek is one thing I just don't like as much. So I don't know why. I don't know
Okay, so
why.
which Star Treks
Okay.
are your least favorite versus your most
I don't like any of
watchable?
the old Star Treks. I watched them as a kid. I don't like it. Like I don't know if it was
Just too
because I watched
campy?
them with my dad or if it just because I didn't like them. So I
Okay.
don't know. That could be like a whole different thing. But I did love Next Generation because Will Wheaton was in it, and I had a very big crush on Will Wheaton when I was younger. So, and we're about the same age. Like he's a couple years older than me, but yeah.
Did you watch his series on he did for Geek and
Tabletop?
Sundry?
Oh
Tabletop,
no.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen
Oh,
some of the tabletop. Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah.
really like that. Did you watch Eureka?
Yes,
Okay,
more
I was
than
going to
once.
say you like Will Wheaton and you're nerdy, so you should
Yeah.
probably watch that. No, it's not your voice. It's a new headset, and I don't like the way the sound is on this either. My voice probably does sound funny because I can hear my own voice and it sounds very tinny.
Oh, it doesn't sound tinny to me. Maybe it's my
Okay.
speakers.
It also might be that I've been talking for almost two
Two
and a
and a
half
half.
hours now.
Yeah.
So I don't talk this much ever.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah. I don't in my normal 9 to 5 job, I don't deal with people. And if I do deal with people, it's like 5, 10 minute blips at a time. So I don't spend very much time talking. Even when I'm playing video games and doing my live streams on Twitch, there are times when I'm
Right.
not having a conversation all the time because something in the game is happening that needs to be paid attention to, so there's breaks. So my if it's not tinny, which is what I hear in my head, it's probably very raspy, and that's just because I'm towards the end of my vocal cords range at this point. But yeah,
Yeah,
just
and
like
then
a
Squid
list.
is another one
Oh,
I really loved.
if it's a list, it's just because I'm tired.
Yeah.
Big on Demon Slayer? Oh, I love Demon Slayer.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that.
You watch anime?
No, I've never really been into anime, so I don't.
Well,
Yeah,
Demon Slayer's
I'm not
anime.
into that. Like the only anime I ever knew about was Bleach, and because the people in my old link shell used to talk about all the time on Vent. So
Ventrilo, wow. That's
yeah,
something I haven't heard talked about in a long time.
yeah.
You're
I
like
mean,
on
me and my
vent, and
husband
I'm
used to,
like,
that's what we
I
used to
know
talk
that.
on all the time with our little like static group we had to get to 75 on Final Fantasy.
Yeah, Discord,
Yeah,
what
Discord is
was it?
now
Like
everything.
Discord, what is it? What is that expression? Like when something blah 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 walked so something could run? Oh, so like TeamSpeak and Ventrilo walked before Discord could run. I
Yeah.
was trying to make some kind of
Analogy.
analogy and it just didn't happen. Like my brain just blurped out of that. All right.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
I think because my voice is going and I also have to pee now, and I'm not
I
going to
do
leave
too.
you to them. Okay. Do you have any other questions or things that you want to talk about? Because I feel like we've talked about very little reselling and very lot about everything else.
I had a lot of fun though. Like, I don't really have
Good.
any questions, but I had a great time. Thank you.
Okay, good. That's most important because I just wanted to get to know you a little bit better. So
Yeah, I feel like I get to know you a little bit better too.
if you ever want to chat, you know
Yeah.
where I am.
Okay.
But thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you all enjoyed Melissa because I did, and I'm the one that matters. So, just
I
kidding.
love that.
But I do appreciate you all being here. I do appreciate you, any of you that has watched the entire time. Again, you have won the endurance race, so I appreciate you. Melissa does reselling content, so if you'd like to give her a look, her stuff is in the description down below.
And my Matrix video.
Your major. I was seriously thought there was something wrong with my phone. I thought there was something wrong with my phone, so I switched to my computer, and I was
Oh
like,
my god,
no,
it's
it's the
funny. I'm
video.
sorry.
I was just like, wow.
I use
She's
a
like,
feature of my editing software, and it's like, will automatically take out all the the dead space. I'm like, done, because I had okay. That was after 3 hours of trying to edit it, and it wasn't getting it right. And I was like, I'm done. I'm fully done with editing this hour-and-a-half video. It made it an hour and 3 minutes. I'm like, good. Let's push it out and see what happens.
I was just like, all right, this is going to be one of those videos I just listen to because watching it is making me like want to
I'm
murder
sorry.
my eyeballs. It's
I'm sorry.
okay. I just listened to it and it was good. But
Okay.
yeah, her stuff's down below. Melissa, thank you for your time. Thank you all
Thank you
for
for
your
asking.
time because it's been a lot of time. Hopefully, you all learned something about me, about yourself, about reselling, and definitely about Melissa. And we will see you guys next time. Bye, friends.
Bye.